Wes Pittman and the halfbacks Brian Langkamp and Andy Bischel. Stater with a knee injury, not expected to play tonight. Aaron Ayers does the kicking for Dodgeville. 2 men deep for the Arrows. One of them is Brad Moore. The other is Andy Bischel. And we're set for football. Here's the boot by Ayers, and we're underway in this small Division I game. It'll bounce and be picked up by Moore on the run at the 20. Runs middle, 25 to the 30, and tripped up. Good special teams play by the kicker, Aaron Ayers, to prevent Moore from getting a surge right up the middle as he had an avenue if he gets by Ayers. Otherwise, it's 1st and 10. Lancaster, they have it at their own 34-yard line.
And really, if Ayers doesn't make that tackle, if he misses one more or gets by one more guy, it's off to the races to start this ball game off, and everything goes Lancaster's way all out last year.
A lot of big guys in this Dodgeville defense. Dennis Lai and Tanner Pratt, the 2 defensive ends, both at 6'5", 6'6". Ethy and Clayton in the middle. Ayers and Wineland, the linebackers. Lewis and Clark in the middle. No pun intended. Ganser and Bothfeld, the corners, and Jared Meyer, who's an incredible player. He's in the safety. Johnson's under center at 1st and 10, optioning left, and he'll hand it off to Pittman on the left side, who gets the 35 and out to about the 36-yard line for a gain of about 3 in the play for a 2nd down and 7 yards to go. Mike Baranek, who's in his 4th year, and the Arrows are going no huddle on a 2nd and 7, certainly is very happy the way his team has started. You know, Ben, they said 500 was the goal, but now they're shooting for a playoff spot with a 4-0 start. Receiver to the left is Driscoll. This will be Johnson. Will play action pass. Pump fake. Throwing out of the backfield. It's for Bischel and knocked out and nearly intercepted on the far side of the field. The defense on the far side for the Dodgers that time by Nate Bothfeld, the corner who came up and knocked it down for an incomplete pass. So it's a 3rd down and 7 for the Arrows at the 36-yard line.
And he did just what you're supposed to do. If you can't get to the quarterback or you can't get out to your guy, just put your big paw up in the air and you got a piece of the ball.
Johnson looks to the near sideline. They'll send Langkamp now in for Lancaster on this play. And he'll bring the play to the sideline. Brad Moore will head out. So obviously Brad Moore getting some playing time in the backfield here for the first half for Lancaster with the injury to Stater. Driscoll split to the near side. Bischel comes out here as well. The wide side of the field is the near side on this 3rd down and 7. Johnson under center in the eye. Option right. He has a chance to keep it and does. Looks for running room's got the 40. First down, 45 to the 50. 45, 40. Cuts it in. Spun down and tackled by Bothfeld to the near side of the Dodgeville 38-yard line. But it's a 1st and 10. And Ben right away to the outside and a big gain for the Flying Arrows.
Well, and I think Dodgeville was a little worried there, Doug, because you notice that they really blocked out the outside to force Johnson to cut it in. But nobody was there to pick up the quarterback who's supposed to be his read to take him first before he can option out.
28 yards and a 1st down from Mike Johnson on the option keeper to the near side. And Johnson gets the play from Brad Moore, who will play halfback in this series again. Driscoll split wide to the left, the wide side, the far side of the field. They work with the right hash. We're just on the way, but 11:03 to play in the first quarter. No score. Dodgeville and Lancaster. Straight wishbone formation. Johnson, fake left, then a handoff. 2nd man through and smothered his Bischel immediately in the backfield. Nobody fooled there, including Ian Clark, who was there to make the stop on Bischel the moment he got the football. A loss back to the 40, which is a loss of 4, and it brings up a 2nd down and 14 yards to go.
And he just hog-tied him. He got up around his shoulders and rode him down to the ground.
Well, that's that belly play where you fake to the fullback and then go to the 2nd back, and good job of the linebacker in reading his keys and not falling for the fake to the fullback. Driscoll split wide to the left from the right hash, wide side, the far side of the field, a straight wishbone. And Johnson under center with a 2nd and 14. Option left, it's a pass. Throwing for Driscoll, far side, lofts it up, makes the catch, has the 1st down, jukes the man. 25, 20, 15, and pushed out of bounds at about the 12-yard line. Well, they've been trying to run that play to perfection all year long in lofting the pass in between the corner and the safety, and finally they get it right and get a big gain into Dodgeville territory. 1st and 10 at the Dodger 12-yard line.
And what Johnson's doing a great job. He's seeing his receiver and then kind of doing a pump fake to hold the cornerback out there, and in the meantime the receiver's just continuing the pattern and he's wide open on the play.
Well, what's it with 28? It's another 28-yard game, this time of the pass play. Driscoll to the left, which is the short side of the field, so lots of room out here. Option right. Johnson got to keep it, puts the head down, gets inside the 10 and maybe to the 9-yard line. Again, Clark is on the stop for Dodgeville. We'll call it to the 10. Pickup of 2 for a 2nd and 8 for the Flying Arrows at the Dodgeville 10-yard line. Again, they can get a 1st down at about the 2 of Dodgeville as Moore comes out and Langkamp comes back in. Interesting to see how the Arrows adjust without Andy Stater in the game, injuring his knee last week. And as a result, Brad Moore pushed into the backfield tonight. Langkamp and Bischel now in the backfield behind Pittman. Driscoll to the left, wide side, the near side of the field, at a 2nd and 8 from the 10. Optioning right, Johnson wants to keep it, cuts it up, gets inside the 10 and out of the 8. Dodgeville had that one pretty well diagnosed on the inside. And the stop on the inside for the Dodgers. Looks like we had Andrew Clayton making the play from his defensive tackle spot. We will call it a gain to the 9 for a 3rd down and 7 for the Arrows of the Dodgeville 9-yard line.
And not only is Johnson doing a great job with the passing game, Doug, I think he's kind of using his inside run to set up the outside to draw Dodgeville in so that they can start getting to the outside for those bigger plays.
Driscoll to the left. They work for the middle of the field at a 3rd down from the 9-yard line. They could still get the 1st down. 3rd down and 7. Trade wishbone. Johnson now calls out a different play as he gets off from under center. And now a flag comes out. And I think it's going to be delay of game against Lancaster, and that will be the call. 3rd and 12, this will make it, and push it back to the 14-yard line. And when Johnson got off from under center and called the audible, that's what sparked the delay of game. So a 3rd down and 14 yards to go. 3rd down and 12, at the 14.
Yeah, he just didn't like what he saw from the Dodgeville defense. He tried to audible, but time ran out on him. But I didn't think he was fooling anybody even with the audible because Dodgeville was already suddenly making some adjustments to his call.
8:50 to play, 1st quarter. Arrows knocking on the door here in the red zone. Driscoll will go wide to the left. Now Bischel joins him in the slot to the left side to work for the middle of the field. 3rd down and 12 for the 14. Back to pass. Johnson looking left, throwing right. What's Cruel in the end zone? Overthrows him incomplete. Cruel, the tight end, had got deeper than the 2 defensive backs. One of them errs in the secondary, and they ran that a couple of times last week and the week before, and were able to hit Cruel on the numbers for a big pass, but this time Dodgeville had it well defensed as Meyer and Ayers were there, and it's 4th down and 12 for the 14, so decision time for the Flying Arrows.
And Cruel had a step going into the end zone. Johnson, again, being very patient at the quarterback spot before he throws the ball. O-line's giving him plenty of time to work back there.
4th down at the 14-yard line, 4th and 12. Cruel, the tight end left, Driscoll to the near side. A wing-back formation is Bischel. Bischel in motion out of the outside. Johnson back to pass. Flag comes out. Throw middle. There's Driscoll. Touchdown! David Driscoll with a touchdown. A flag came out as the play was initiated. So it's either going to be encroachment on Dodgeville or perhaps illegal procedure on the part of the Arrows. And what is the call? It's going to be a dead ball foul. Offsides, Dodgeville. That should be a touchdown, I do believe. Or, of course, if it's a contact was made, no, it's a dead ball foul, so no score is called, right? There's no touchdown. It is a dead ball foul. So a break for the Dodgers to be penalized. It's a break. And makes it a 4th and 7, puts it back to the 9-yard line.
And that was a great play overall because Driscoll was triple teamed, and Johnson got that ball right in between there for the TD. Let's see if they can repeat that.
So Dodgeville hardly penalized. Actually, they're held for the penalty. 4th and 7 from the 9. Receiver to the near side. Man in motion. Johnson going to option right. He'll pitch it right. Looking for running room. Lancaster, he's not going to get it. Pushed out of bounds at the 10. Tanner Pratt makes the stop. Dodgeville stretched out the option. And Ben, if you've ever heard of a penalty helping you in this circumstance, it helped Dodgeville because it took a score off the board.
And on that play right there, Dodgeville doing a great job. They strung out that entire play. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. One man took the quarterback, one took the one back, the lead block, and then they had 2 guys to take out the guy who had the ball coming around and trying to come in the corner.
8:34 to go in the first quarter. Dodgeville with the first and 10 now at the Lancaster 10-yard line. Aaron Ayers, the quarterback, with the 2 receiver set from the left hash. He'll hand it off to Pitts, looks for the outside, busts it out there, gets up over the 10 and out to about the 13-yard line. Brady Pitts, 5'10", 165 at a junior. They'll mark forward progress to about the 11, so only a gain of a yard for a 2nd down and 9 yards to go. Let's give it the offense. Junior Aaron Ayers, 6'1", 175. Also Tanner Pratt, the tight end, 6'6", 200 at a senior. Receivers Reynolds and Ganser in the backfield. Mumm and Pitts. The Arrow defense in a bit. They'll send 2 receivers, one to the left, one to the right for the right hash, and Ayers under center of the eye. This is Ayers, a handoff to Pitts. Once the outside left side coming up is Larson, spins him down and brings him down for a loss of the 10. Up for the secondary for the Arrow defense is Doug Larson, the strong safety. We'll call it a loss back to the original line of scrimmage, and it's a 3rd down and 10 for the Dodgeville Dodgers.
And he just did a great job, one-on-one, man-to-man tackling, took him down, didn't let go.
Adam White, Mike Keller, the ends. Duncan and Moore on the inside. Rasmussen, Pekanovsky, and Fishnick, the linebackers. Rich and Shaw, the corners. Larson and Driscoll, the safeties of this Arrow defense. A 3rd and 10 for Dodgeville from the 10. Let's see if they go to the talented arm of Aaron Ayers on his 3rd and long. Receivers right and left. It's a wing right formation for the left hash. Ayers on the play action pass, rolling out right, gets outside the pocket. He's in the end zone, rolling out. Keller's after him, throws the far side. The pass is almost intercepted. It is intercepted on the far side of the field. The pick for the Lancaster defense, I do believe that was either Mike Shaw or Matt Rasmussen who made the pick. They played it deep, and Lancaster has a 1st and 10 at the Dodgeville 25-yard line on the interception. He really forced that ball, didn't he, Ben?
Well, and he was under a lot of pressure. He was back in his own end zone. 2 defenders from Lancaster on his tail, and he just heaved it up. He'd have been better off just to heave it out of bounds.
Keller was breathing down his neck, so now the offense to the field on a 1st and 10 from the Dodgeville 25-yard line. No score in this game. And under center will go Johnson with 2 receivers split way to the near side. An option right. Johnson will hand it off to Pittman, the fullback, who gets up inside the 25 and down to about the 22-yard line. That'll bring up a 2nd down. We'll call it 7 yards to go for Lancaster at the Dodgeville 22-yard line. So a 1st and 10 for the 25 after the interception. You see that was Rasmussen or Shaw? Which one was it, you know?
It looked like number 8, but I'm not seeing a number 8 listed on the...
No, there is no number 8. Krul, the tight end to the left, 2 receivers to the near side, and Bischel and Driscoll to the outside. The wide side, the near side of the field, it's a straight eye. Option right, Johnson handing off again to Pittman, who gets inside the 20 and down to the 19-yard line. It's that right side of the Dodgeville defense. Pickup of 3 for a 3rd down and 4 as the Arrows go to the bread and butter, which has been Wes Pittman this year, certainly on the inside. He's had the lion's share of the carries in the offense, but Lancaster, of course, using that outside is more of a big play this year than they have in years gone past. Of course, it's been a big play consistently, but Pittman has certainly been a workhorse on the inside. 3rd down and 4th and 19. 2 receivers to the near side, and I again in the backfield. The option right, Johnson will hand it off. Pittman breaks a tackle, slugs his way inside the 15 out of the 14-yard line. And apparently has a Lancaster 1st down. Clark again on the stop for Dodgeville along with Bothfeld, but it is a 1st and 10 for Lancaster at the Dodgeville 14-yard line.
And until they can stop that, Doug, I'd ride that horse till the game's over. 4 yards in a cloud of dust, and he's just working it right up the middle.
You bet. That has been the success for Lancaster. We saw it in the Broadhead Judah game in game 1. And throughout the season, Pittman up the middle. If not Pittman, it's been Cayley. Pittman, Bischel, and Langkamp in the backfield. Driscoll to the near side as they work from the middle of the field at a 1st and 10. Johnson got an option left. He'll keep it, cut it up. Tries to spin out of a tackle that is dropped down after minimal gain as they hit the left side. Good defense by the Dodgers responding and hemmed him in. Tanner Pratt, one of the defenders, in on the stop for the Dodgers. Also with a couple of other players there as well. Drew Lewis was there on the stop. We'll call it a gain of 1 to the 13 for a 2nd down and 9 yards to go.
I'm kind of impressed by the discipline of the defense for Dodgeville. They're staying home. They're not over-pursuing. They're just doing their assignments.
And they're not worried about ball fakes either.
Right.
You can get so hypnotized by faking the ball in the backfield and reading your cues, and they're staying right with it. Driscoll to the near side on a 2nd and 9. Get a pass, look back, near side slant. Driscoll up in the air inside the 10 and down to the 9. Ayers there to greet him as he caught the football, but Driscoll holds on. And they're going to call it down to the 7-yard line for a pickup of 6 to make it a 3rd down and 3 for Lancaster on the pass from Johnson to Driscoll.
And that's a way to give up your body. You don't see a Randy Moss doing something like that.
I was waiting for you. Bischel and Driscoll to the left. Pittman and Langkamp in the backfield of the right hash. There goes Langkamp in motion. Option left. They give it to Pittman. Pittman inside the 5. May have the 1st down for Lancaster as he hit that left side of the line and then went back to the middle. It depends on the spot of the football, and I think they're going to say 4th down. Yep, 4th down. Did not get the 1st. It's at the 5, so 4th and 1 at the 5-yard line for the Flying Arrows. 4:12 to play here with the 1st. Lancaster on 2 occasions been in the red zone. This is the 2nd time and trying to get something out of it. Bischel and Driscoll to the left. Pittman and Moore in the backfield. Johnson going to hand it off. Pittman left side. No, he keeps it. Walks in. Touchdown, Johnson. Mike Johnson Johnson, the fake handoff to Pittman, and Dodgeville felt he was going to get it. They collapsed on Pittman. Johnson pulled it out and walked into the end zone. A 5-yard touchdown run, and with 3:56 to play, it is a 6-0 lead for Lancaster.
And you almost got the feeling on that play, Doug, that ball was supposed to go to Pittman, but instead Johnson just saw something else open up, kept it himself.
So Lancaster on the board, and to try to tack on the extra point will be Larson. Ball is down, high snap, got it down, kick up, kick on the way, kick is good. 7-0, Flying Arrows, 3:56 to play, first quarter. High school football is a 97.7 WGLR Lancaster.
All your hopes live for your family, for your loved ones, for yourself. If you want to make the most of it, you've got to make plans for it. That's why we offer so many ways to build your future. Loans, complete investment services, and 21st century convenience. First National Bank of Platteville, with offices in Lancaster and Hazel Green. Member FDIC.
Looking forward to your future. Looking forward to your future.
7 plays, 25 yards on the offensive series set up by the interception of the defense. 2:56 to do it. A 5-yard touchdown run by Mike Johnson. The extra point by Larson is good, and with 3:56 to play in the first quarter, Lancaster is out to a 7-0 lead. Well, Dodgeville reading their cues, but that time they didn't read the cues, did they? They collapsed on Pittman because they felt that he was going to get the ball in a short yardage situation. And when you overplay a little bit, that's the problems you have with the wishbone option. And Johnson took it into the end zone untouched. Here's the boot now by Larson. It'll be a short kick to the far side of the field. At the 15, running middle, 20-25 to the 30, and brought down at the 30-yard line. The Dodgeville return man, which I do believe is Brady Pitts, and it is. And it'll be a 1st and 10 for the Dodgers. They will have it at their own 30-yard line. Their second possession of the game with 3:50 to play. Their first possession ended in an interception. So let's see what the Dodgeville offense does on the second possession of the first half.
And this is where they almost want to take up the remainder of this first quarter. Give your defense a little bit of a rest. You put them in a bad position, and run some time off this clock.
One receiver, Ganser, to the near side, and another man on the far side of the field to come out of the I formation from the middle of the field. Ayers will duck under center, checks out his backfield, now goes under center on a 1st and 10 for their own 30-yard line. And Ayers, play action pass, rolling out right, looking, throwing long, right down the middle. Tanner Pratt is wide open, makes the catch at the 35-30, 25-20, dragged down by Larson at the 15. The tight end, Tanner Pratt, wide open over the middle, and Dodgeville into the red zone on their second play, on their second possession of the first half.
And that's a great confidence builder. You gave up a touchdown, and boom, you come right back with a big play, get you right back into this ball game, or at least put you on the doorstep.
They are at the 14-yard line. So 20-36, a 56-yard gain for the Dodgers of the pass play from Ayers to Pratt. He was wide open. Ganser to the right, one man to the near side. It's an I formation. Pitts the tailback. And they'll hand it off. Pitts left side, wants the outside, tries for a tackle, now gets to the outside again, gets to the 10, and dragged down by Larson at the 9-yard line. Went off tackle first as he tried to cut it up initially on that outside run to the near side, then busted it back to the outside when he saw the green was there, and got all the way down to the Lancaster 9 for a pickup of 5 and a second down and 5 yards to go.
And handed to Pitts. He's just taking what the defense is going to give him. He's supposed to go inside, wasn't there, worked it to the outside.
You heard it in our pregame. That's what Mike Baranek wants to do. Take what they give us. Reynolds to the right. One man to the near side in Wineland. This is Ayers rolling out the pass, throwing end zone, and on his knees, and it's going to be incomplete to the far corner of the end zone, the intended receiver. Coverage from Rich. The intended receiver of the far corner of the end zone, do believe was Reynolds. It's an incomplete pass, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 5 for Dodgeville for the Lancaster 9-yard line.
And Carl Reynolds slipping a little bit as he went outside. He had a step on the defender for Lancaster, but that throw just a little bit too wide for him to get to and keep his footing.
So Dodgeville on a 3rd and 5. They can get the first down at the 4. 4 receivers set. 2 to the right, 2 to the near side. Ayers with a shotgun. Man in motion to the outside is Ganser. Back to pass. Ayers throwing end zone. Pratt broke it up. Great defense by David Driscoll to separate Pratt from the football at the 1-yard line. It's an incomplete pass, and 4th and 5 for the Dodgers at the Lancaster 9-yard line.
Yeah, and he just made sure that if Pratt's going to come up with that ball, he's going to have to make an outstanding catch. He was all over him. Great defense. And I'm a little surprised. You were kind of talking, you thought maybe Lancaster come out a little bit more blitzing tonight.
They're going to go for a field goal here. Ayers the kicker. They'll spot it at the 18 from the left hash. A 28-yard field goal try. Ganser to hold. Ball is down. The kick is up. It's on the way. The kick is going to be wide to the right, and no, it's good. It looked like it was wide right, but apparently it got just inside that right upright. And Ben, you were shaking your head no, like it was no good, but it got just inside the right upright. It is a 28-yard field goal for Aaron Ayers, and Dodgeville on the board 7-3 with 2:43 to play here in the first quarter. We'll be back after this timeout at 97.7 WGLR.
Claire Bank now offers free checking. When you open a checking account with Claire Bank, there's no monthly service fee. There's no minimum amount needed to open the account, and there's no minimum balance required. Plus, when you open your free checking account with Claire Bank, you'll receive a free debit or ATM card. It's free checking with Claire Bank, with 8 convenient locations in southwest Wisconsin. Claire Bank, we can do that. Now offering free checking. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
5 plays, 61 yards for the Dodgers. Took 107 to do it. The big play was the 56-yard pass from Ayers to Pratt, which set him up at the Lancaster 9-yard line. Then on the 4th and 5, Mike Baranek says, let's kick it. A 28-yard field goal by Aaron Ayers. From our angle, it looked like it was wide right when it came off, but the official said no, it made it just inside the right upright. And Ayers with a 28-yard field goal makes it a 7-3 game at 2:43 to play in the first. Ayers to kick, more to the right, and Bishop to the near side. As again, the Dodgers are right to left here in the first quarter. Ayers will get the signal. He'll approach the football, and there's the boot. Line drive kick will come to Bishop at the 13. Runs middle, 15-20. To the 25. Has it avenue. 30, 35, and brought down. Ooh, extra help there from one of the Dodgeville defenders as he was clearly on the ground. And it's first and 10 Lancaster at their own 36-yard line. It'll be their third possession of the football game.
Dustin Lewis coming up, did a great tackle, got him right around the waist, took him down, and a little extracurricular hitting out there too. But this is a big game for both teams coming in 4-0.
2:36 to play, first quarter. The Arrow offense back to the field. They scored in their last possession, which started at the Dodgeville 25 after the interception. So Mike Johnson back to the field with 2 receivers split to the left in Bishop and Driscoll. They'll pass it. Johnson pressure left side, throwing it long. Driscoll's out there, throws it behind him and incomplete. Well, actually, he may have wanted Bishop on the far sideline, who was running the wheel pattern out of the backfield. He runs that. Actually, he was lined up at the line of scrimmage as the receiver on the far side, but may have run it out and up. I think it was on the far side, and as a result, he went long on the sideline. Lots of men out there for Dodgeville, an incomplete pass, and a 2nd and 10 for the Arrows at their own 36-yard line.
And if you're Dodgeville, Doug, we talked about trying to run as much time off. One thing that I've seen last year and this year with the Lancaster teams is the shape that they are in. You don't want your defense working this hard this early in the game.
Well, what helps the Arrows, too, is they 2 platoon. They've got 11 guys on one side, 11 guys on the other side, and other teams are playing both ways. Bishop a slot to the left. Driscoll's out to the far side of the field. An option left by Johnson. Headed off Pittman. He's got a hole in the middle. Gets up over the 40 and out to the 44-yard line. About 2 yards shy of an Arrow first down. Dodgeville stopped by Wineland. But Wes Pittman on the inside will give Lancaster a 3rd down and 2 yards to go out to the 44-yard line, and the clock ticks with 2:12 to play in the first and a 7-3 Lancaster lead.
And early on, you got to like the play calling because they're basically saying our guys on the line are going to beat your guys on the line. We're coming right at you, and they're doing it on the ground.
3rd down and 2 as Langkamp brought the play to the near sideline. He'll be in the backfield along with Pittman. Driscoll's to the left. Bishop in a slot to the left. From the left hash, we had some movement in the backfield by Langkamp, but now stops and no flag. Handed off Pittman left side, and he is pulled back for a loss and didn't get the first down. Got across the line of scrimmage. They're going to say that he did get forward progress to give him the yard. Langkamp, who went in motion, was expecting a penalty to be called, but the ref did not call a penalty for illegal motion, and it's 4th down and 1 for the Arrows at the 45-yard line.
And I don't know if you give the credit to Johnson or you give the credit to Landcamp. Landcamp stopped. Johnson didn't snap the ball till after he stopped, so he got a chance to reset, so there's no penalty.
Well, the Arrows going to go for it at 4th and 1, and they could go frozen here and go Alaska, as they like to call it, and try to draw Dodgeville off sides at a 4th and 1. Play on their emotions. Driscoll to the left in I formation with Pittman and Langkamp. Johnson under center, and apparently one of the Dodgers may have moved into the neutral zone. There's a flag from the line judge. And if it's not against Dodgeville, it's going to be against someone in the Lancaster offense for twitching. Instead, it is going to be encroachment on Dodgeville, and the 5-yard penalty, then it works. They stayed frozen, and that's all they wanted to do on that play. Otherwise, they were going to take the delay of game penalty and probably punt it away if Dodgeville didn't move.
You know, and the key in that is if you're a defensive lineman, you're not listening to anything. All you're doing is out of the corner of your eye, you're watching that ball, and you're not moving until you see it snap. And that's the biggest mistake. Like you said, you let your emotions get into it. You're trying to make a big stop, and you're kind of listening to the count that the QB's giving you.
1st and 10 at the midfield stripe for the Arrows after the 5 yards encroachment penalty against Dodgeville. The wide side, near side of the field. Bishop comes in motion near side. Johnson to pass. Looking, throwing for Driscoll. Near side. Driscoll's out there, but he throws it over the wrong shoulder, incomplete. Well, he's running free in the secondary.
In Blacker.
Don't forget, at the end of the game, we'll have our Tricor Insurance Play of the Game. Tricor Financial Services serving the Tri-States at Tricor Insurance. It's all about you. It's the play in which we feel changed the complexion of the game. That's our Tricor Insurance Play of the Game. Dodgers move left to right here for the second quarter. Have a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line as we start the second quarter. 7-3 Lancaster. 2 receiver set in I formation for Ayers. He'll pitch to Pitts. Far side, looks for running room and gets across the line of scrimmage to the 25 and out to about the 27-yard line of the far side of the field. Brady Pitts, who had a 200-plus yard game earlier this year, I do believe the second game of the season in which he ran for over 245 yards. One of the leading rushers of the state because of his success this year. They get out to the 28, a pickup of 8 for a 2nd down and 2.
And he just does a great job of getting on his horse and getting to the outside and going.
5'10", 165 at a junior. The eye again for the Dodgers. 2 receivers set, and Ayers under center. Ayers going to hand it off. Pitts, right side, looks for an Abbott who has the 1st down, 30 out to the 33, 34-yard line. Rasmussen in the hole makes the stop for the Flying Arrows, but it's a 1st and 10 Dodgers on a 6-yard gain for Brady Pitts out to the 34 for Dodgeville. 7-3 Lancaster by 4 as we're in the second quarter now.
And this is what they need to do, just a sustained drive, keep it moving, give the defense a little time to rest, and maybe let the offense for Lancaster cool off a little bit. And if they can keep this rolling, things could be a little bit more even.
Bothfeld to the left and Reynolds to the near side. And I formation again for Dodgeville, this time at the right hash on a 1st and 10 of the 34. They'll hand it off left side, looking for running room. His Pitts dragged down from behind at the 35. That was Fishnick who came in from behind and pulled him down. Brad Moore also into the play. We'll call it a gain of a yard to the 35 for a 2nd down and 9 for Dodgeville at that point with 10:50 to play in the first half.
And Fishnick did exactly what he's supposed to do on defense. He was not touched coming through, and what you do as a defensive lineman is follow the play.
Fill the hole and make the play. Reynolds to the near side. One man Ganzo to the far side of the left hash. Reynolds in motion. This is Ayers going to pitch it out to Pitts. Pitts wants the corner. Coming up and making the play is Brad Rich to bring him down. Made initial stop and then to clean up on the stop is Fishnick for the Flying Arrows and Pekanowski. And we'll call it a loss back to the 34. So they lose a yard in the play. And it's a 3rd down and 10 for Dodgeville. And then they've gone very minimal gain in these last 2 running plays, with the Arrows are starting to anticipate Pitts is going to get the ball.
And Pitts isn't that big, but he showed a little punch there.
Yeah, with Rich, didn't he? Reynolds to the near side, one man to the far side. Wide side, the far side of the field at a 3rd and 10 for the Dodgeville for their own 34. Ayers going to roll out to pass. Now he's going to step up pocket, throw middle. The hook pattern incomplete to the far side of the field. Intended at the 45-yard line. On the hook pattern over the middle, the intended receiver on the far side of the field was Wineland. It's an incomplete pass, and Dodgeville in the 4th and 10 will have to kick it away.
And good defense. Mike Shaw was covering him like a blanket on defense. That ball was going to have to be pinpoint for that to get in there.
Ayers to do the kicking. He'll be backed up to his own 21-yard line. Driscoll deep to receive at the 33. 9 men in the line of scrimmage. Snap to his right. He'll almost just had it. Almost got it blocked. It'll bounce into the hands of Driscoll at the 30, 35, running middle to the 40. Jukes a couple of guys. Flag comes out, and it'll be a penalty probably of the Flying Arrows, as they'll have it 1st and 10 of the 42 with the ball mark, but it depends on the foul. The flag is marked back at the 35.
Yeah, Driscoll had a little bit of trouble getting that ball, but it took him 5 yards. He wasn't going to stop running. Got his momentum going, got the handle on the ball, and started cutting it up. We got a hold, Doug, is the official call from the umpires.
Kyle Main nearly blocked the punt. It'll be a 1st and 10 for Lancaster and push it probably back to the 25-yard line. With 9.5 to play here for the first half. We've had a very fast-moving first half here today at Lancaster High School. Homecoming 2002 for the Flying Arrows.
And as we talked a little bit before during the pregame, if you're Dodgeville, this is the game you really do want to get Lancaster. Homecoming, there's a lot of things going on. Your mind's not always on the game.
Well, it's a holding call in Lancaster, so it gives Dodgeville the football, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Okay. But for a while there, Dodgeville had the ball. But they did not. 9:38, the way the teams were lining up with the huddles.
Possession.
Yeah. First and 10. Johnson will go under center on a wishbone, and Driscoll on the near side. On the right hash, he'll option right sec. That's Pittman with the football. Looked like he was going to give it to the second back through, but instead he goes to Pittman. And Pittman with a couple of yards gets out to the 27 for a second down and 8 yards to go. The way the teams came up to the line of scrimmage, Arrow's got to stand in there. They were the first ones there. Usually it's the defense that's the first ones there. And they're kind of going, what's going on? And it ended up being a holding call post-possession. So it's a second and 8 now after the Arrows got 2 yards on first down. Driscoll to the right side, wishbone formation from the right hash, and Johnson under center. Will take the snap. He'll option left. A good off Pittman, and actually Cayley running with the ball, got up over the 30 and out to the 34. They will mark him down to the 34 as he nearly busted free. But to the 34, a pickup of 7 for a third down and 1 for the Flying Arrows after the 7-yard run by Ben Cayley, now in at fullback.
I've been kind of watching the Dodgeville defense when the Lancaster's going to pass. They are so concerned about Driscoll. Every time they put Bishel in motion, their defense is messed up. They don't know who to cover.
Bishel and Driscoll to the near side. They'll work in the middle of the field at a 3rd and 1. Johnson under center. Waits for the snap. Option left. Give it off Cayley. He's got a first down. No, it's Johnson running with the football. Great fake. Gets to the 40, 45, and a first down. Great fake by Johnson as Bothfeld makes the stop of the secondary for the Dodgeville Dodgers. But I thought Cayley had the ball in. It was Johnson instead. It's 1st and 10 out to the 47.
Well, I think Johnson's just doing a great job, Doug, of seeing what the defense is going to allow and not handing it off at certain times and keeping it himself.
13 yards and a first down on the run by Johnson. And he's pulling it out late. That's what he's doing, too. Driscoll to the right. From the left hash, Johnson will option weak side and hand it off to Cayley. And Cayley gets a couple of yards on the inside where the going is tough. Drew Lewis into the stop for Dodgeville. Also into the play for the Dodgers that time, the defense, as Andrew Clayton. And we'll call it a gain of 2 for a second down and 8 yards to go for the Arrows out to the 49-yard line. It's a 7-3 Lancaster lead with 7:49 remaining in the half. Driscoll to the right. Cayley, Bishel, and Langkamp in the backfield. Wide side, the far side of the field. Johnson, weak side option again. And he's got the football, cutting it up to the 50. Good open field tackle by the Dodgers. Aaron Ayers on the linebacker spot to bring down Johnson, who's a little bit dinged up in the knees as he gets up. But he gets to the 45, and that'll be a pickup of 6 on the play to make it a 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, Ayers came up like a missile and did his job. Hit, wrapped his arms, and he hit Johnson right at the knees, put the stop to him.
So a 3rd down and 2 at the Dodgeville 45. Driscoll to the right. Moore will sit out to the right as well. He'll be in a slot to the right. Cayley and Bishel in the backfield from the left hash. Option, weak side again. Cayley's got the first down as he hits that left side of the line and gets it inside the 45 and down to the 43.
And we were keeping an eye on the offensive line. You were talking about the center, Foes, and Foes is not in there. Smith is in at
Vogt,
center.
you mean?
Vogt, yeah. Smith is in at center right now for Lancaster.
Now, 1st and 10 Lancaster at the Dodgeville 42 after a 3-yard gain by Cayley, who's now been the featured fullback, and now Cayley will come out and Pittman to replace him with 6:50 to play. So Smith in at center. This means Dylan Sterrett, the sophomore, will be at right tackle. 2 receivers to the right, an I formation with the left hash. Johnson to pass, looking, throwing left. Wide open is Cruel. He's at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Brett Cruel. Well, Ben, you talked about them so worried about David Driscoll. They went right, looked like he was faking right, came back left, and they had totally forgot about the weak side, and that's where the tight end Brett Cruel was for an easy score.
And it's just amazing to me all night long. Lancaster has been able to get behind the defenders for Dodgeville, and they're going to have to change that up at halftime or they're going to have a long night.
42 yards on the touchdown pass from Johnson to Cruel with 6:35 to play. Johnson to hold now as Larson will try to tack on the extra point. It's right now 13-3. Swinging door for the Arrow offensive line. The ball down. The kick is up. Almost blocked. Good diving effort, but it is good. 14-3, Lancaster with a lead. Our game tonight being brought to you by TDS Telecom with offices in Lancaster, Fenimore, and Dickeyville. and Doolittle's Eatery on the square with Lancaster. Again, Lancaster 14, Dodgeville 3, back after this timeout on WGLR.
Music Works in downtown Dodgeville wants to make sure you know they always have a great selection of new and used electric, acoustic, and bass guitars. They have a nice selection of new, used, and refurbished clarinets, flutes, violins, and trumpets. Did I mention digital 88-key pianos, keyboards, and drum sets, and a complete line of accessories from guitar strings to cork trees. Music Works buys, sells, and trades all types of musical instruments every day, and they give lessons too. Stop by Music Works today and see for yourself why they're America's favorite little music store. Music Works in downtown Dodgeville.
After forcing a Dodgeville 3 and out to the Arrows' fourth possession, 7 plays, 75 yards, taking 3:03 to do it. A 42-yard touchdown pass from Johnson to Krul. The extra point good by Larson. And it's 14-3, and Ben, Dodgeville needs an answer right away.
Well, they need to do something that's sustained on their offensive drives.
Here's the boot by Larson. It'll go to the far side of the field, and they'll have it at the 20, running 25. Bothveld to the 30, 34. And the Arrow special teams bring him down there. Rasmussen in the stop for Lancaster, along with Bekanovsky. And it'll be a 1st and 10 for Aaron Ayers of the Dodgeville Dodgers at their own 34-yard line with 6:28 to play here for the first half. 14-3, Lancaster with a lead.
And so far, Lancaster's defense, they've given up, yes, the one big play, but that last drive, they bent, but they didn't break, and then they stuffed Dodgeville. Now they just got to put together the sustained drive like they started with the last drive.
Here's Layton coming to the field, had the play for Mike Baranek. He'll come out of the shotgun, and a 4-receiver set. Hits the lone back to his left, and Ayers with the shotgun at a 1st and 10. High snap brings it down. Blitz is coming, throwing near side. 2 receivers out there. Shaw's there, making the catch on the near side. Going to say that he is out of bounds. An incomplete pass. The catch made by Wineland into Lancaster territory at the 36-yard line, but clearly, Ben, he was beyond the sideline.
Well, no catch or no catch, he did a great job of turning his body completely around because the ball was behind him to even come up with that ball.
Well, and credit Ayers. You see the pressure he had. The blitz was coming, and the Arrows were playing man-to-man coverage in the secondary.
And good defense by Lancaster because they're not letting anybody behind them, and they're running step for step with these receivers from Dodgeville.
Ganser out of the game, so Pratt will split wide to the left. So a 4-receiver set again for Ayers in the shotgun on a 2nd and 10 for the 34-yard line. High snap, the ball's free. Far side, Arrows diving after it. Who wants it? Lancaster, Dodgeville players flying after the football, and apparently the indication that Dodgeville has recovered.
It looked like Ayers had the ball to begin with, but it slipped out of his hands, and it was number 52 for Dodgeville who came up with the ball. And
that's Athey, I think, isn't it? No, Trevor Christensen.
Trevor Christensen.
Okay. Well, he had a bad snap of the first one, too, but brought it down. But this time the snap just got away, and actually was more to his left. So loss all the way back to the 21. They lose 13 yards. 3rd down to 23 at the 21-yard line. He's under center. 2 receivers set. Man in motion near side. They'll pitch it to Pitts. Once the outside as the corner. 20, 25, and dragged down, knocked down at the 30. It's short of the 1st down. Rich makes the stop on the near side along with Keller. They were going to give him 10 yards, say go ahead and get it, but you needed 23 for a 1st down. And that bad snap, Ben, one play can mess you up, and the Dodgers are going to have to kick the football away.
And the play calling, it confuses me a little bit, Doug. Maybe slide somebody else in there besides Pitts and try some more running games against Lancaster.
To a punt. 2nd straight 3 and out for Dodgeville. Ayers to kick from his own 20. Driscoll back at the 34. There's the kick. Boy, just barely got it away. Driscoll runs up right ahead of the 40. 45, 50. Running middle to the 45. Great field position for the Flying Arrows. We'll have it 1st and 10 at the Dodgeville 45-yard line. Special teams play by Scott Johanning for the Dodgeville Dodgers.
And there is no hesitation by Driscoll on those punting plays. He's on the run when he catches that ball, and it is straight ahead down the field. He's running downhill every time he's grabbing a punt.
As I've often said about David Driscoll this year, he is a man among boys when it comes to playing football this year. 1st and 10 for Lancaster. They have it at the 45-yard line of Dodgeville, leading 14-3 with 4:58. Driscoll split wide to the right, the wishbone formation for the middle of the field, and Johnson ducking under center. Option left, headed off. Pittman has a hole, almost broke free, and eventually brought down as he got to the 39-yard line of Dodgeville. Somersaulted forward as he almost got free to the pack, but gets to the 39. That'll be a pickup of 6 for a second down and 4 yards to go. And Dodgeville's defense, Ben, it's been on the field quite a bit, and they're starting to wear down a little bit because that inside play is opening up as well.
Yeah, and if this continues, the third quarter is going to be a real long time for that defense.
Driscoll split wide to the right, the wishbone again. Pittman, Bischel, and Lancaster at the backfield. But a left hash for Mike Johnson. A flag comes out before the play can be initiated. And the line judge saying it's either going to be illegal procedure or encroachment on one of the Dodgers. And what is the call? Referee coming to the middle of the field and saying dead ball foul. Offsides Lancaster. So a second down and 9 this will make it. 2nd and 9 and push it back to the 44-yard line.
And this is a very important round for Dodgeville defense.
For both teams, offensively and defensively. Driscoll to the right. Johnson under center. After the 5-yard penalty, option left. Johnson fakes the second time, breaks free, spins out of another tackle, and is brought down to the 41. I think he may have missed a handoff.
That's what it looked like. There was a little confusion in the backfield, and he just said, hey, I'm keeping it myself. Let's not have any problems. Picked up about 3 yards on the play, so it's a positive.
Ayers and Wineland make the stop. It'll be a 3rd down and 6 yards to go at the Dodgeville 41 with 3:54 to play. This is the offensive consistency that John Hoke's talking about. Get a penalty, now a missed handoff. Driscoll to the right, Bischel in a wingback position to the right. I formation with Pittman and Moore. And Johnson under center for left hash. Option right, and he'll hand it off to Pittman, who tries to break free of Aaron Ayers' tackle and fell forward to the 36, but I think the spot is going to be at the 37, and he may be shy of the first down by about a yard.
And that was an important tackle by Ayers, because now you got to make a decision if you're John Hoke. Looks like they're going to go for it. If you can stop him now, this is a big play for the defense. You don't want to get down 21-3 with the way your offense isn't clicking if you're Dodgeville.
4th and 2 for the 37 of Dodgeville. Arrows going for it, leading 14-3. Driscoll to the right. Pittman the fullback with Bischel and Langkamp. Johnson under center, optioning left, going to keep it, cut it up. First down inside the 35 and out of the 33, and the option to the left side with Mike Johnson, the quarterback. Dodgeville defensive play on the inside. Making the stop is Andrew Clayton, but Johnson just leaped the tackler on the inside of that offensive line and got it up for the first down to the 33.
Well, and he did a good job, too. That play was supposed to go to the outside. One of the defenders jumped up. Johnson just cut it inside of him, picked up the first down. That was all they needed.
4 yards on the run for Mike Johnson on the first down. They'll come back to the line of scrimmage to the left hash. 2 receivers to the right, wide side, the far side of the field. He'll option right, and Johnson will hand it off immediately to Pittman, who was immediately brought down by Ian Clark. Clark made the stop. Call a gain of a yard for a second down and 9 at the 32 of the Dodgers. 14-3 Lancaster with 2.5 to play here in the first half.
Very workmanlike in this possession right now for Lancaster. They're using the entire clock as best they can for the half and marching it down the field.
Langkamp in for the sidelines, bringing the play for the coaching staff and John Hope. Driscoll will split wide to the right. Bischel will join him on the far side of the field. And Johnson to duck under center with Pittman and Langkamp at the backfield. Second down and 9 yards to go. Got a pass. Got time. Now pocket collapse. Middle throw long. Lofted up for grabs. Who wants it? And almost caught over the far side by Driscoll. Plenty of pressure in the middle on Mike Johnson, who just let it fly. Andrew Clayton was in his face. And he threw it long, and Bothfeld was out there on the coverage and had a clear interception if he keeps his concentration, but instead it ends up being an incomplete pass and almost ended up being a reception for David Driscoll.
And Bothfeld should have had that one picked. His timing for a leap to try to catch it, which was unnecessary, kind of threw him off, and it did. It almost set up Driscoll making the catch, and he could have went in for a TD.
3rd and 9 for the 32. Larson split wide to the right. Driscoll to the near side. Maybe a double pass here. Let's see what happens. Johnson under center. Johnson got an option. Hand it off. This is the reverse to Driscoll. Now the flip back to Larson. He's going to throw it long. Wide open. Bischel end zone. Touchdown. Driscoll came back for the reverse. They flipped it to him. Driscoll then threw it to Larson on the lateral back. And Larson stepped up and threw it long to a wide open Andy Bischel. 6 points. Lancaster with 1:53 to play. Lancaster has a 20-3 lead. The moment I saw Larson out there, I said, uh-oh, he may be passing.
And you know who should get the credit for that completion and that pass? Your offensive line, because that play takes a long time to develop.
Yes, it does. Johnson to hold. Larson to kick. Ball down. Kick on the way, and they block it. Bothfeld through. He almost got through the last time, and he gets through this time from that left corner. Diving and blocking the extra point, and the score will stay 20-3. 20-3, Lancaster by 17 with 1:53 to play in the first half. We'll be back after this timeout on WGLR Lancaster.
It's A&W Radio, broadcasting live from your memories of those evenings at the A&W Drive-In. Take a moment, order a quarter-pound hamburger, because while lots has changed, those sweet moments at A&W haven't. Now a word from our sponsor.
Before or after the game, let's all go to A&W where the food's as good as a root beer. Have a delicious root beer float and enjoy lunch or dinner at A&W Family Restaurant, South Madison Street, Lancaster.
All-American food, A&W.
So the reverse pass works for 6, but the extra point is blocked. 8 plays, 45 yards, 3:05 to play, 3:05 on the possession. The 32-yard pass on the reverse from Larson to Bischel after the pitch back from Driscoll. And Lancaster makes it 20-3 despite the block extra point. Here's the boot, and it'll be Bothfeld foaming the ball. He's got his knees on the ground, and that is going to be down. In high school football, if you go down for the football and your knee is on the ground when you pick it up, you are down right there. And that's where Dodgeville will have it first and 10 on their own 17-yard line.
And that's where he made the mistake. He had time, and you don't really think about this, but he had time. He could have stood up, then grabbed the ball, and went, and he'd have been okay.
Well, when you get down there and you want people to chop off your head, I mean,
easy for me to say up here in the booth.
He had time. There's only like 3 guys coming down to separate me from the football. First and 10 Dodgers of their own 17 with 1:50. It's a 20-3 Lancaster lead, and Aaron Ayers will duck under center. They'll show the I formation. And they'll head it off to Pitts under the lay, looking for running room, and brought down after he got to the line of scrimmage for maybe a gain of 2 as he hit the left side. Fishnick and Larson into the stop for the Flying Arrows. But I do believe Duncan was the first one there to make the contact, and we'll call it forward progress to the 19. And a second down and 8 yards to go. And Ben, with 1:30, looks like the Dodgers are content to get to the locker room because they ran the draw play, although usually you try to bust one on the draw play on first down and then you go from there. 2 receivers set. Ayers will duck under center with the I formation. On a second down and 8 for the 19. Arrows showing blitz, and they'll hand it off to Pitts under the lay again. Hits the line of scrimmage, gets across the 20 to the 21, but that's it. Fishnick's waiting in the hole for Brady Pitts after a 2-yard gain, and it's a 3rd down and 6. And Lancaster has their full complement of timeouts with 59 seconds. They are not going to call one here, leading 20-3, and let Dodgeville chew the clock at the end of the half, apparently.
And it's amazing. The defense for Lancaster seems to be getting stronger as this ball game is going on.
That's been their M.O. Third down and 6 for the Dodgers for the 21 with 41 seconds remaining in the half. 2 receivers, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. Ayers under center, play action pass, rolling left, step up, pressure throws long, has a man, Ganser, but incomplete. Coverage from Brad Rich, but Brad Moore was there to put Aaron Ayers on his backside the moment he threw that football at Ben. It was Brad Moore who forced him to throw it early before a receiver could get clearly open.
Yeah, it was clearly about a second and a half before Ayers wanted to let that ball go because the receiver was nowhere near where he's at, and Brad Moore's all over his waist.
3rd straight 3 and out for the Dodgeville offense, and that has set up the tone here with the first half. And Lancaster leading 20-3, and now with 20 seconds to go, 30 seconds, 30.5, Ayers to kick from his 10. And remember, he's had to get this punt off real quick. See if they come after him again. Arrows flinching at the line, waiting for the snap. There's the snap. They will back up for a return. There's the boot by Ayers. Driscoll tries to run up on it. Now it bounces away from him inside the 50 and into Lancaster territory back to the 44. He really wanted to run up on that thing because the Arrows had set up a return, but the punt was well short by Ayers to almost prevent the return. Instead, Lancaster will have it. 1st and 10. They'll have it at their own 43 with 19.7 seconds remaining and leading 20-3 here in the first half.
And you said they've got their full complement of timeouts. The worries of Dodgeville right now is still David Driscoll. You got a couple other guys that maybe can get open if they can get single coverage.
Arrows huddle from the near sideline and just come to the line of scrimmage, and Driscoll and Bischel stay out here, and quickly Bothfeld and Wineland come out to cover him. Wide side is the near side of the field, so Johnson ducking under center on a 1st and 10 with their own 43, up 20-3 with 19 seconds to play. Johnson option left, handed off. Big hole, West Pittman, 50-45, and down to the 40-yard line for West Pittman. The Arrows going to play hurry up. They call a timeout here with 12.9 seconds to play in the half. So West Pittman ripping off a chunk of yardage, getting down to the Dodgeville 41. will give Lancaster a 1st and 10.
That's already his 12th carry in this ball game.
16 yards on the carry for Wes Pittman. Well, he has been the workhorse this year. The Euros called the timeout, so we tell you our game tonight is brought to you by Hermson's Ace Hardware and Home Center Bloomington. Myers Heating and Cooling in Lancaster. No interest, no payment till 2004. American Standard, new standards for living. And for all your family's medical needs, see Dr. Stater and Mariskanish, physician's assistant Mike Metz, and soon to be joining the staff, nurse practitioner Liz Hinckley at the Family Medical Center. Also, Brittingham and Hickson Lumber Company of Lancaster, featuring Anderson Windows and Patio Doors. Visit with the winning team, Anderson Windows and Brittingham and Hickson Lumber Company of Lancaster. Don't forget, after the game, high school football tonight at 9:45. All the scores, including the Galena Pirates. We're on 106.1 KLYX, your team.
My alma mater.
That's right, yep. The only man in the history of Galena High School to know exactly how many lights are on the ceiling of the high school gym as a high school wrestler.
That's right. My great record of 0-7.
I was 0-1, 1-0, and they should have been called for stalling. Here is a 1st and 10 of the Euros for the 41. 2 receivers to the right. Johnson to pass. Pressure coming backside, throwing it long, far side. Receiver out there. Driscoll going up one-on-one. Did he make the catch? No, it's incomplete to the far side of the field. Went up long. Bothfeld in the coverage, stayed one-on-one with him, but Driscoll went up, and they tried the jump ball there, but it's an incomplete pass. It's going to be a 2nd and 10 at the 41 now with 6.1 seconds remaining, and Ben will probably see another one of those passes into the end zone.
Well, with that kind of ability, Driscoll almost made the catch. He did a great job. He got higher on the jump. I would just do the exact same play, throw it up, and let Driscoll use his athleticism.
Either that or do the rain dance again, which got you 32 yards and a touchdown, right? The reverse pass. Well, I don't see Larson split out right, so obviously not going to do that. That's good for 1 a game. More to the right. Driscoll there. Johnson play action looking backside left out of the backfield. Once Bishel overthrows him at the 30. Incomplete pass with 1.8 seconds to play. Lancaster will get another play now with a 3rd and 10 from the 41-yard line.
They've been so worried about Driscoll, and the one play that's really confused the Dodgeville offense is when they set up in that wing, and then they put Bishel out in motion. They really don't know who to cover and how to set it up. That might be the play to use.
Well, in that last series, too, you notice when Lancaster ran the football, they ran weak side, too. They ran to the short side of the field. And so many teams, they prepare or think, as Lancaster calls the timeout, so many teams prepare or think that option teams explicitly run to the wide side or the strong side of the field. But in Lancaster's case, consistently over the years, they've had their best success running to the weak side or the short side of the field because teams don't prepare for that. And if you can go down the field methodically getting 5-6 yards of carry on that short side of the field, that's been their success over the years and why they've been such a successful team in the wishbone offense.
And sometimes you lull the team into thinking that's the way you're going to go, and you hit the big one the opposite way.
Yeah, I mean, you're running short side constantly, and all of a sudden, boom, there's one wide side you totally forgot about, and they got 6 points. Timeout Lancaster, they have 1 left. 1.8 seconds to go. Our game tonight being brought to you by the NW Family Restaurant of Lancaster. Also, Gasser True Value Hardware of Lancaster, Boscoville, and Hazel Green. And Arlene Siss, Democrat candidate for the 49th Assembly District in Southwest Wisconsin, supporting spending reforms for education in Wisconsin because education is the backbone of economic development, paid for by the Siss for Assembly campaign. Patrice Steiner is the treasurer. 1.8 seconds to play. Maine to the right, Driscoll to the near side. It is a 3rd and 10 for the 41. Lancaster up 20-3, the final play of the first half. Johnson to pass. They're dropping 8 into coverage. They'll throw it long. Driscoll in the end zone. Oh, can't make the catch. Larson actually was the quarterback and not Johnson of the play. So the left-hander Larson lofted it up long. And Ben, the last play of the half, and he was running free in the secondary.
And once again, he got behind the defenders from Dodgeville, and they kind of closed right at the end. The ball kind of hung up a little bit, but Driscoll had a great opportunity to pull that in for a touchdown. We could be 27-3 at the half.
Lancaster up by 17, though, as we've reached the end of the first half of the battle of the unbeatens here tonight at Lancaster High School. The score at halftime in Southwest Wisconsin Athletic League Division I high school football, it's Lancaster 20, Dodgeville 3. We'll be back here at halftime. It's Homecoming 2002. We'll do that after a 2.5-minute break on WGLR. That's a when those two to get together, that's a fight, isn't it?
That's a fight. You throw the record books right out the window. Because,
remember a couple years ago when they went in the playoffs?
No, they just missed meeting in the playoffs.
Did
they both got beat.
Oh, okay,
they could have. There was the possibility that the two could have ended up playing each other in state.
Bothfeld and Pitts deep to receive for Dodgeville. Dodgers a move from left to right here for the second half, defending the north end zone. Lancaster from right to left, and Larson will tee it up at the 40-yard line. 20-3, Lancaster to lead, and Dodgeville to get the football first to start the second half here at Lancaster High School. Don't forget high school football tonight after the game, being brought to you by Truck Country of Schellsburg, Yellowstone Golf Course of Blanchardville, Midwest Title Corporation of Lancaster, and Radio Shack on the Square in Lancaster, your electronics headquarters. That's high school football tonight. 9:45, Mark Ebenstad and R.J. Osterhaus will host the program from Blackhawk High School. There's the boot by Larson, and we're underway in the second half. Pitts will run up on it at the 25, catches the ball at his ankles, and then is smothered to the ground at the 31-yard line. Pitts ran right up the middle and did a good job of snagging that football. Arrow special teams play by Nick Cooley, who's down to make the stop. Dodgeville will have it, 1st and 10. And they have it at their own 33-yard line as we get underway here for the second half. And let's see if Mike Baranek decides to go to the air here in the second half. Instead, he is bringing Aaron Ayers to duck under center. 2 receivers, one to the left, one to the right. Again, they're from left to right, working from the middle of the field out of 1st and 10. Lum and Pitts on the backfield. Ayers going to hand it off to Pitts, right side with a delay. Looks for an avenue, has a hole, 35, and hog-tied and ripped down on the near sideline by Brad Rich at the 40-yard line. But a good gain that time by Pitts at a 7-yard gain for a second down and 3 yards to go for Dodgeville on a run by Brady Pitts to the near side.
And a positive offensive play. He picked up about 7 yards on the play. This is going to set the tone for the game of how they come out on this first drive here in the second half.
So 2nd down and 2, we'll call it. He picked up 8, 2nd and 2 at the 40-yard line. 3 receivers set. Under center will go Ayers with an I formation. And he'll hand it off. Pitts, counter play left side. He is smothered. Didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Hit the left side of the Arrow defense with Fishnick. And pick out a name. Larson was there as well. Rasmussen on top of the pile. Losing yardage back to the 38. A loss of 2, and it's a 3rd down and 4 yards to go.
And I don't think you're fooling the Lancaster defense, because right now all they're doing is they're going to key on Pitts. If you're going to get this running game working, Doug, you're going to have to try your other back.
Tanner Pratt split wide to the left. Bothfeld and another man, Reynolds, to the near side at a 3rd down and 4, and Ayers will call a timeout as there's some confusion on the Dodgeville offense. We'll keep it here. Game tonight being brought to you by Clear Banks of Southwest Wisconsin, Subway locations in Southwest Wisconsin. Also brought to you by Tricor Insurance and Financial Services. They'll be sponsoring our play of the game. We've got some nominees to think about with the play of the game in the first half. And right now I think that rain dance of a reverse pass, which made it a 20-3 game, Ben, right now stands a pretty good shot of being the play of the game, although the defense, you got to work the way they play, has a good chance of being our Tricor Insurance play of the game.
I'll tell you what, it's a little bit easier this year to try to pick out a play of the game than last year.
Yeah. Which one?
Yes.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. 11-14, 3rd quarter. It is the 3rd down and 4 for Dodgeville at their own 38. 20-3, Lancaster to lead. Dodgeville with a timeout has 2 remaining now here in the second half. Bothfeld and Reynolds to the near side. Still some confusion in the offense as Ayers will go with a shotgun. 4 receivers set. Ganser and Pratt to the left. See if the Arrows show blitz. Pitts in the backfield. High snap. It's loose again. Ayers recovers. He'll fire it long. 1 man out there, and the ball taken away. It's caught by Reynolds, and now he has the catch of the 35 into the 25. And I think, Ben, we're going to get offensive interference on Reynolds as he pulled Mike Shaw away from the football. Shaw clearly had inside position and interception. Reynolds grabbed his jersey and pulled him away, made the catch, but the flag came out late, and it's going to be offensive pass interference on the Dodgeville Dodgers.
Yeah, and I think he could have got away with that. Shaw was kind of falling because the ball was underthrown. They were both trying to stop to come back, but he did have a hold of his jersey. That makes all the difference in the world.
Offensive pass interference on Dodgeville. Every Sunday, Randy Moss and Michael Irvin got away with it. Randy Moss, of course, may not get away with anything this Sunday. They'll be.
Oh, he apologized for that, so yeah. It's all forgotten.
Obviously, Lancaster will take the penalty because this will nullify what was a huge gain for Dodgeville. And, well, I credit Aaron Ayers, huh? Dropping a snap, the high snap again in the shotgun. Pressure in his face, and throws the ball. That had to be about a 40-yard pass with pressure in his face, didn't you think?
Well, and I don't know if the nose tackle, is that Rasmussen's nose tackle for the Lancaster? Brad Moore. I don't know if he has the center for Dodgeville very worried because every single shotgun snap has been high for Ayers, and he's had to go up and grab them. 2 of them now have gone over his head.
Jesse Brandemule now on the defensive line for the Arrows. It'll be a 3rd down Third down and 20 yards to go for Dodgeville, back to the 34, and the interference penalty. Shotgun for Ayers. Pressure coming. Looking, steps up, throws middle. Pratt is the intended receiver, incomplete. Driscoll had plenty of coverage at the 50-yard line. The pass was high. And that'll bring up a fourth down and 20 yards to go, and the Dodgers will have to kick it away.
And I noticed the difference on that one. The center for Dodgeville, he had his head down. He was looking back before he was doing the no-look snap. And I think he's being told by either the quarterback or the coach, get the ball into Ayers' hands, then worry about the block.
Well, the Arrow defense forcing a Dodgeville punt, so they fail to get a first down, and Ayers will back it up to the 10-yard line. And Driscoll will be a lone deep man at his own 40-yard line. And the Arrows now doing the running start to the line of scrimmage. So 5 yards off the line, they'll run at the line to get Dodgeville to jump and not go into a three-point stance. And now they come after the punter. Almost got the punt. They ran into him, but now the flag comes out late. Driscoll fumbled the ball. It's free on the ground. However, he recovers it at the 48-yard line.
It's all going to be for naught because they're going to get him for roughing the kicker.
Well, a penalty, it was third and, remember, it's 4th and 20, so even unless it's an automatic first down, it'll be a 15-yard penalty and still will not get them the first down. So roughing the kicker will be the call. And this will be a 15-yard penalty. And I do believe in high school football it is not an automatic first down.
An automatic?
I don't think it is.
But I'll tell you one thing that should be awarded tonight is the Academy Award to Ayers.
Yeah, he really wasn't roughed.
But you're taught as a punter, if they even bump you, go down and hope you get the flag.
So they'll take the roughing the kicker penalty, and they'll mark it off from the 23-yard line. And it'll still be fourth down on Dodgeville, and they'll still have to kick it away unless they're going to go for it on 4th and short. No, it's only a 5-yard penalty, too. So it's only a 5-yarder. So they felt apparently it was running into the kicker as opposed to roughing the kicker. So a 5-yard penalty, and they'll have to kick it again on a 4th and 15. 4th and 15 up to the 39. Driscoll back at the 42 of Lancaster. There's the punt. Whoa. Nice kick by Ayers, way all over Driscoll's head. Bouncing to the 20 to the 15, and he'll let it roll inside the 15 and down to the 13-yard line. What a punt by Aaron Ayers. 16 to the 50 and down to the 13 is another 37 yards. So that is a 53-yard punt by Aaron Ayers, and backs up Lancaster deep in their own territory. 1st and 10 at their own 13-yard line, up 20-3 with 10:38 to play in the third quarter.
He just made his coach look like a genius of repunting that play because they picked up about 25 yards, pushing Lancaster back of where they would have ended up if they'd have took that first punt.
Well, of course, it's a no-brainer. I think you're going to make them kick it again, don't you think? You're going to kick it again? Because they would have had 1st and 10 at their own 42, and that's pretty good field position.
They've had snap troubles and a few almost blocked.
Johnson, the quarterback. Pittman, the fullback, on this first series with Driscoll to the right, man in motion near side. Johnson optioning left, has plenty of time, cuts it up, gets up over the 15 and out to the 16-yard line. On the near sideline, Mike Johnson was the leading rusher for the Arrows in the first half with 60-plus yards and picks up yardage out to the 15, a gain of 2. We're 2nd down and 8 yards to go for the Flying Arrows. Dodgeville doing a good job of stretching out the option most of the time here in the first half. And it's actually the Arrows getting a couple of the touchdowns of pass plays. One to Cruel, one in the reverse pass to Bischel. But Dodgeville doing a pretty good job of staying in their lanes in the option. 2nd and 8 at the 15. Johnson with a left hash. Option right. Will give it off to Pittman, and Pittman slugs his way on the right side of about the 17-yard line. And that is it. And Clark and Clayton in on the stop of the Dodgers. To the 17, pickup of 2, a 3rd down and 6 for Lancaster at their own 17-yard line now with 9:40 to play here in the third quarter.
And the Dodgeville defense up front doing a good job of shutting it down. But if you notice on Driscoll, they're still putting 2 guys out on Driscoll. They have a concern about his abilities.
So 3rd down and 6 yards to go for the Arrows. On the 17, Driscoll to the near side of the middle of the field. Option left, going to reverse it to Driscoll. Cuts it up, look for running room. They hem him in, and the flag comes out late on the play. The reverse to Driscoll had to cut it in quickly as the defensive end for the left side came crashing down. Loses yardage back to the 13, so back to the original line of scrimmage. And a flag came out late in the play, and it's going to be a holding call on the Flying Arrows, too. The Dodgeville defense Well prepared for that reverse. It is a 4th and 10 for the 13. Dodgeville will decline the penalty. And the Arrows, for the first time here tonight, are at 3 and out on the offense and punting the football with Larson a kick from the goal line. So the Dodgeville defense with 9-12 makes a stand here to start the third period. High snap. Larson brings it down. Almost got it. There's the kick. A nice kick. And it'll be Pitts at the 50. Bothville to the 50. 45 to the 40. Spins away. Breaks a tackle. He's to the 35 to the 30. Still on his feet to the 25 and inside the 25 and down to the 23-yard line. Nate Bothville on a heck of a return of about 25 yards for the Dodgeville Dodgers will give them a 1st and 10 at the Lancaster 23-yard line.
And I don't know what the coach said at halftime, but there's a little spark on the Dodgeville side right now, Doug, that they're coming out and they're ready to play here in the second half. That return's really going to help fire them up because they're starting out down at about the Lancaster 22-yard line.
So down to the 22 is where they marked it, and that is a 28-yard return by Bothville. Receivers right and left. Ayers under center with Mom and Pitts in the backfield for the left hash. He'll hand it off to Pitts on the near side. Pitts looks for running room, and Keller's there to bring him down for no gain. Keller and Moore there to make the stop for the Flying Arrows. Back to the 25. They will give him a very generous mark, even though he was clearly knocked down back at the 27. They put it at the 26, a loss of 4 for a second down and 14 yards to go.
And that's the one thing with Pitts. He's a smaller back, Doug. He is not going to run over a lot of people. You get him behind the line, you can drag him down for that loss.
Ganser left, Wineland to the near side. It's an offset eye for Dodgeville at a 2nd and 14. Ayers ducking under center for the middle of the field. Arrows showing blitz, takes the snap. He'll roll it out near side. Ayers looks for a passing lane, throws the pass batted in the air. Intercepted by Fishnick. Batted in the air on the near sideline, and I think it may have been David Driscoll who batted that pass in the air and came in the blitz. It went in the air, fluttered up, and Fishnick with the interception to give Lancaster a 1st and 10 of the day at their own 24-yard line.
And that's just sensing where the defense is coming, especially when he's coming right in your face. You either have to take the sack at that point or just kind of try to throw it around the defender and not through him.
So 1st and 10 Arrows at the 24 after the interception by Fishnick on the deflected pass. Johnson under center. Well, option left. It's Pittman surging his way across the 25 and out to the 28-yard line. Andrew Clayton into the stop of the Dodgers. And Athey also makes the play. They will mark forward progress to the 27. Pickup of 3 for a second down and 7 yards to go. So a big interception for the Arrows, stopping Dodgeville's best threat of the second half. Driscoll will split wide to the right. Wide side of the field, the far side. Bishop will join him. Pittman in the backfield. Langkamp in the backfield as well. Now he's in motion. Johnson option right. Give it off to Pittman. Pittman gets down out to the 29-yard line. Pittman on the carry for the Arrows, where Ayers is on the stop for Dodgeville. Along with Athey, and we will call it to the 29. That is a pickup of 2 for a 3rd down and 5. Ben?
And that formation that they were in, Doug, when they put Bishop out to the left with Driscoll, you'll notice Driscoll's getting single coverage on that formation. And you might want to go to that a couple more times in passing plays.
So a 3rd down and 5 of the 29. Driscoll to the near side, which is the short side of the field. Bishop over here in a slot. And I with Pittman and Moore. In motion is Bishop. This is the option left. Give it off to Pittman. Pittman up over the 30, out to the 33. A late flag comes out. He is shy of the 1st down. They needed a 1st down at about the 34. And let's see what the call is as the flag came in late in the pile. It'll be holding against Lancaster. That'll be 4th and 1. They're going to get the ball back here, and let the Arrows go for it. Dodgeville probably going to take the penalty to give him 3rd down over. And they'll mark it off at the point of the foul, which was the 31, so they should push it back to the 21. And make it a 3rd down and 13 yards to go. So a very makeable 1st down for the Arrows at a 3rd and 13, as opposed to a 4th and 1. Play comes in from Langkamp with a near sideline, and Johnson will call it in the huddle. 6.5 to play in the 3rd quarter, 20-3 Lancaster. Driscoll to the right. Bischel out in the slot. I formation with Pittman and Langkamp. For the left hash. Bischel now goes in motion to the outside. Johnson to pass. Steps up in the pocket. Looks long. Wants Cruel down the middle. 2 men out there. Almost intercepted. Good coverage downfield for the Dodgeville Dodger defense. That's Jared Meyer, their safety, going as deep as Brett Cruel. And that was the play, Ben, that worked in the first half for a score. But this time Dodgeville had double coverage on the tight end. And the halftime talk worked well.
Yeah, their defense is playing a little bit better, a little bit more composed. At that time, Bischel again going out in motion. This time the defense adjusted to it where they weren't doing that in the first half.
The Lancaster's second possession, like the first of the second half, ends at a punt. Larson a kick from the 8. Good snap this time. No rush. There's the punt. Nice high kick, sending Bothfeld deep to his own 35. Arrows after him. Langkamp misses. Bothfeld makes another man miss to the 40, 45, and now brought down to the 48-yard line of Dodgeville. Pekanowski on the stop on the special teams for Lancaster. Also Bischel in the play, and Rasmussen. But it's going to be a 1st and 10 for Dodgeville. It'll be their third possession of the second half. The first one ends at a punt. The second one ends at an interception. And they got great field position. 1st and 10 of their own 48-yard line. In a 20-3 game, Lancaster with a lead.
And Bothfield just does a great job on those returns of giving a defender just a little bit of a hip to flash at it. And then he moves away from him or spins away from him. Picks up an extra 5 to 7 yards each time.
Nate Bothfeld, a good return man, showing some speed. 2 receivers split to the left, one on the near side. Ayers is the shotgun out of 1st and 10. Ayers showing blitz, good snap. Ayers to pass, pressure coming. Brad Moore after Ayers, throwing middle, looks for Reynolds, incomplete. Twisted and turned for the football. Rich and Shaw on the coverage of the 25, but the pass is incomplete for a 2nd and 10 for the Dodgers at their own 48-yard line.
And they're doing a good job of really throwing off Ayers to have anybody wide open. So far, that 55-yarder.
Yeah, I was going to say, he has 1 completion on the night.
1 of 10 on the night tonight. And he's throwing into double coverage. Credit the safeties in the corners for Lancaster. They're not giving them any room to throw into.
Danzer and Pratt to the left, 2 men on the near side. Reynolds the outside receiver on a 2nd and 10 of the 48. Ayers in the shotgun with the snap. Back to pass. Looking. Now throwing left side. The pass caught on the far side of the field at the 44-yard line of Lancaster. The reception that time by Ganser. He'll be shy of the first down by a couple of yards to set up a 3rd down and 2 for Dodgeville at Lancaster's 44-yard line.
Yeah, that time, for the first time tonight, really, Ayers had some time to comfortably sit in the pocket and hit the receivers wide open.
Arrow, defensive back, may have had a premature contact, too, as ball came over to Ganser. 4 receivers set. Ganser and Pratt to the far side. Again, 2 men on the near side. On a 3rd and 2. Ayers in the shotgun to pass. Pressure coming outside. Fishnick's after him, throwing middle. What's Reynolds? Well over his head, incomplete. Heavy pressure from Fishnick and Keller, and Ayers knocked to the turf as he threw the football. It is a 4th and 2 for the Lancaster 44, and no doubt time to go for it for the Dodgers, down 20-3.
You know, the one thing I'm wondering about the offense, Doug, it doesn't seem like Dodgeville's got a safety valve for him to dump a pass off.
Yeah, no check down. Yeah, you need a check down. Well, they put 4 receivers out, but, they don't come out with a guy to the back, but they're going to punt. They are going to punt the football the way out of 4th and 2. Well, this would be high time for the Lancaster defense to be heads up to a possible fake here, because this is the area where you fake.
Yes.
Right around that 50-yard line. They're late shuffling people in and out. Drew Lewis comes out late. 4th and 2. They're going to punt from the Lancaster 44-yard line with 5:14. Snap is back. Well, he's kicking the ball to the near side, away from Driscoll. It'll bounce inside the 10, roll in the end zone, touchback, and Lancaster have it 1st and 10. I didn't think they were going to punt there, Ben. I thought a fake was on clearly, but apparently Mike Baranek saying let's play it safe. Our defense is playing so well. It's a 20-3 game. We got a big play defensively. What have they done offensively in the second half? Lancaster's been 2 punts offensively in the second half, but still does hold a 3-score lead at 20-3.
Right, and if you're going to start doing something, you got to start doing something now. You've gotten the momentum back a little bit, but every time you do, it seems you give it right back to Lancaster in the next couple of plays.
Well, the Arrows huddled up on the near sideline. That was our score at halftime, what we have right now at 20-3. As the offense comes back to the field against the Dodgeville defense. 1st and 10 of their own 20-yard line. Bischel and Driscoll wide to the right. Pittman and Moore in the backfield in the eye. Johnson to option right. Johnson to keep it. Has a line of scrimmage. Dragging people out to the 25 for a gain of 5 on the right side of the line. Dodgeville defense into the stop for the Dodgers was Scott Johanning. And the pickup to the 25, a gain of 5 for a second down and 5 for the Flying Arrows. Our game tonight being brought to you by Brittingham and Hickson Lumber Company of Lancaster, featuring Anderson Windows and Patio Doors. Visit with the winning team, Anderson Windows and Brittingham and Hickson Lumber Company of Lancaster. 97.7. GLR Lancaster, Doug Wagan, Ben Rosenthal with you from Lancaster High School. Wishbone formation, 3 backs. Wide side, the near side of the field. Johnson now appear to be changing the play at the line of scrimmage as Driscoll is put out left with press coverage. He'll option left. Johnson will hand it off to Pittman and hits the left side and then cuts it back to the middle before the Dodgers hem him in and bring him down for minimal gain. Wineland's on top of the pile along with Ayers. And they will say forward progress is to the 28-yard line. Pick up a 3. It's a 3rd down and 2, and the Arrows going without a huddle. Driscoll on the near side. Cayley now in at fullback for Lancaster with Moore and Bishop on the backfield. And 3:59 to play in the 3rd. Johnson under center on a 3rd down and 2. Optioning right and handing it off, and the back is smothered. Cayley for no gain. In fact, he lost yardage back to the 27-yard line. Ian Clark on top of the pile. They're going to actually give him a pretty generous spot back to the line of scrimmage for no gain and make it a 4th and 2. And you can see the strategy there, Ben, of Mike Baranek. The defense has been stopping Lancaster, and the Arrows have been conservative and have had 3 punts to show for their offensive possessions over the second half. Well, Larson a kick from his own 17. High snap, brings it down. There's the boot, the line drive. It'll bounce on Bothfeld and roll inside the 40, inside the 35, and be down by Langkamp at the 31-yard line. So actually, the line drive punt works to Lancaster's benefit. Normally it wouldn't. You'd figure a guy'd get a great return out of it, but he couldn't field it, and Dodgeville has it 1st and 10 at their own 31-yard line.
And not that I would ever question the coach of Lancaster, John Hoke, but the clock is your friend right now at this point. Do you really need the hurry-up offense? Maybe eat some more time off the clock as you're doing your runs and, run this quarter out as best you can when your offense is just kind of sputtering a little bit right now.
So 1st and 10 for the Dodgers to the 31-yard line. Ganser will split wide to the left. Reynolds to the near side. They work from the right hash, the near side of the field. It's an I formation with Mumm and Pitts. 1st and 10 of their own 31-yard line, 20-3. Lancaster will hand it off. Pitts to the left side, and the Arrows smell it out. Breaks a tackle, does a great job to get across the line of scrimmage and get positive yardage. I don't know how he got away, but Brandenburg eventually made the stop for the Arrows along with Keller. Pickup of a yard in the play. We'll call it a gain of 2 for a 2nd down and 8 out to the 33-yard line. How in the world did he get away?
They had a movie on that run, about that run. It was called The Longest Yard. He really worked to pick up those 2.
Oh, boy, it was. Pratt will split wide left along with Ganser. 2 men on the near side, and Wineland and Reynolds. The shotgun for Ayers at a 2nd and 8 from the 33. High snap, brings it down, throws quickly, and the pass tipped in the air. Intercepted! Intercepted by Pekanowski at the 30-yard line to give Lancaster a 1st and 10 at the Dodgeville 29-yard line. Ben, I don't think Ayers saw Pekanowski out there.
I don't think he saw him, and Pekanowski did a great job of just getting the hands up to hit the ball and then realizing that ball's catchable, got it himself. Great frame of mind to keep his body under control, to tip it, and to get the interception.
3rd interception of an Aaron Ayers pass. He has completed only 1 pass to a teammate here tonight. Actually 2. Ganser caught one earlier in the half, so he's got more interceptions than he has completions.
Yeah, he's throwing more to the blue than he is to his own team.
1st and 10, Lancaster. They're late in getting Kyle Main out of the field with 2:23 to play. They have it at the Dodgeville 38. Johnson under center, optioning left and handing it off in the inside with the football. And running with the ball that time was Pittman before the Dodger defense can sit on him after minimal gain.
And Pittman doing a great job. He kept his center of gravity very low, got up under the line, and just drove for those 2 yards.
Calling only a gain of a yard. 2nd and 9, I should say, at the 37 of Dodgeville. Arrows again in the hurry-up. 4 receivers set for the Arrows with the lone setback of Cayley, who runs left side and slugs his way inside the 25 and down to the 24 before Wineland can make the stop for the Dodgeville Dodgers. Cayley had an avenue. If Wineland doesn't make the stop, he probably is off for a big gain, but gets to the 24-yard line.
And you know what you're seeing on both sides, both defenses? There's not a lot of bad missed tackles. They are doing a great job of tackling on both sides of defense.
Well, actually, let's see, he's at the 24, so the original line of scrimmage was the 28, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so here is a 3rd down. Fake handoff, and now he's trying to run with it. Nowhere to go for Mike Johnson, who may have missed the handoff. And Carson Erickson, who was on the stop there for Dodgeville? No, it was Andrew Clayton, Andrew Clayton who made the play. And we will call it a 4th down and 8 for the Arrows, so we'll have decision time here. We're going to go for it.
And I think the back on that play just came through too quick for Johnson to get him the ball, because you can kind of see him look, hoping that there was a second back coming through to hand it off to, and he just got crunched by the defense of Dodgeville.
So 4th down and 8, and the Arrows are going to go for it from the 27-yard line of Dodgeville. Up 20-3. Bischel and Driscoll to the right in I formation. Bischel goes in motion to the far side of the field. Johnson to pass. Pressure coming, throwing off his back foot for Driscoll. Quadruple coverage, and it is intercepted at the 5-yard line by the Dodgeville Dodgers.
And that's where you got to think as a defender of just knocking that ball down.
Yeah, Bothfeld with quadruple coverage on Driscoll. They had 4 guys around him, and Bothfeld, not realizing it, went up for the pick and came down with it, and acts like a punt for Lancaster, because Dodgeville now takes it. Instead of having it out to the 30 for the 27, they're going to have it 1st and 10 at their own 5-yard line.
And that's just knowing the situation, being in the game mentally as well as physically, of knowing, hey, it's 4th down, knock the ball straight to the ground so nobody's got a chance at it, and you're in better field position.
1st and 10 at the 5, so the way the Arrow defense has been playing here today in the second half. Both defenses have played well in the second half, and now Lancaster will find their defense trying to stop Dodgeville at the 5-yard line, their own 5 of the Dodgers. A 2-receiver set. Ayers going to go back to pass. Quick out, far side, pass is caught, making the catch on the far side of the field and out to about the 15-yard line. On the reception is Reynolds. Had a good quick pattern, step back, 3-step drop, and fired it. The 3rd completion of the day for Aaron Ayers, and they'll call it a 1st down. 1st and 10 as he gets out to the 15 on the reception, a 10-yard gain to Reynolds for the Dodgeville Dodgers.
And that's what they weren't doing in the first half or even early in the 3rd, is they were looking way downfield rather than taking those short 8-yard outs and move the ball down the field.
1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Actually, they marked forward progress to the 16, so an 11-yard gain for the Dodgers. And really, I think, Ben, that may have been their, what about their second or only their first down of the second half?
Yes.
And the Dodgers are going to let the clock run out, and we will head to the 4th quarter here with Lancaster. Neither team putting up points in the 3rd period. The 4th quarter is here, homecoming 2002 for Lancaster High School. The score at the end of 3, it's Lancaster 20, Dodgeville 3. We'll be back to Lancaster High School after this timeout on 97.7 WGLR Lancaster.
You think about it.
Alcohol and drugs. We had, I do believe, 5 punts and 3 interceptions. Yep. 5 punts, 3 interceptions in the 3rd quarter. A very defensive 3rd period. 20-3, Lancaster with a lead. It's a 1st and 10 for Dodgeville with a 16. Now moving from right to left here with the 4th quarter. And it is Ayers pitching out to Pitts on the far side of the corner. Fishnick is there. He breaks a tackle, manages to get away, but now is hemmed down for a loss back at the 14-yard line. Larson came up to help out. Boy, he got away at the 10. Otherwise, he would have had a loss all the way back to the 10. Instead, it's to the 14, a loss of 2. And a 2nd down and 12 for Dodgeville at the 14-yard line.
And out of his 15 carries tonight, Doug Pitts, 5 of them have been times that he's lost yardage for Dodgeville.
Ganser and Pratt to the near side. 2 men on the far side. A 4-receiver set. Ayers on the shotgun on his 2nd and long. High snap. It goes into the end zone. It's a free ball. Ayers will kick it out of the back of the end zone for a safety. The flag comes out because an illegal kicking of the ball is what they'll say for Aaron Ayers. But it'll be a safety recorded for the Arrow defense, and the high snap puts it out of the end zone. And as a result, 2 points for Lancaster to make it 22-3.
And that's been a problem all night long. When they go into that shotgun, that center has been getting a little antsy. And as I said, Brad Moore may be making it a little bit uncomfortable for him as a center.
This is just a matter of formality to call the illegal kick. And then they just say, okay, illegal kick, and then Lancaster gets the 2 points of the safety, and that'll make the score 22-3. They have to call. I don't know why they have that. I mean, everybody does that. You know, they just do it to get rid of the ball, get it out of the end zone. I don't know why they call illegal kick. You know they're going to do it. I mean, do you think Aaron Ayers is going to get on the ball and smother it and say, okay, jump on me?
No.
You know, he's going to kick the ball out of the end zone, and that's what everybody tells him to do.
Because that way, too, he can take out a little frustration as he's doing it.
Boy, and that is played, what, four high snaps, I think, tonight.
It's the 4th in this game. And they've all been, 2 of them have been saved by Ayers, but 1 cost them a big play. They lost 13 yards, and on that one, it cost them 2 points.
And, of course, to add insult to injury all the time on a safety is you have to kick the ball off to your opponent now and free kick it from the 20-yard line. With the ball snapped over the head of Ayers in the end zone. at the 11:19 mark of the fourth quarter to make it 22-3. You really have to, Ben, in this half, you have to credit Dodgeville's defense because they have maintained the score at 20-3 and given Dodgeville's offense a chance. But boy, Lancaster's defense has had an answer too.
And they're both playing exceptional. They both brought the A game back into the second half, and they're playing really smash-mouth football, not allowing either one of the offenses to get rolling.
Right to left again with the Dodgers over the fourth quarter, and Ayers to punt from his own 20-yard line. Bischel and Moore back at their own 30. Here's the free kick by the Dodgers. There's the boot. It'll be an end-over-end job. It'll bounce and be fielded by Bischel at the 30. 35, running middle, 40. 45 to the 50. Jukes a man. Gets inside the 45 and is dragged down at the 43-yard line. Boy, that ankle tackle there. I do believe Wineland was the guy who prevented him from getting away. Otherwise, Bischel may have been off to the races. And it is a 1st and 10 for the Aero offense after the safety. Deep inside, a good deep inside, but certainly decent field position for Lancaster here. They will have a 1st and 10 at the Dodgeville 43-yard line with 11:12 to play here in the football game and leading now 22-3.
And there's a little confusion on the sidelines. What are they yelling about?
They're trying to get a football in.
Oh, okay.
Pretty essential, don't you think?
Well, you need that to really play.
4 receiver set for the Arrows. Pittman alone setback as they try to spread out the defense. Option right. Johnson gives it to Pittman. He's got big running room inside the 40 down to the 39. Hit that right side of the line where Johanning made the stop for Dodgeville. But it's down to the 39-yard line for Lancaster. The gain by Pittman of 4 yards for a second down. And we'll call it 6 yards to go. He had a big hole, but Johanning closed it quickly.
And both these defenses, Doug, if you really watch them, they stick when they hit people. There's not a lot of missed tackles or sloppy tackle. When they hit, they hit.
Moore and Maine to the left, Bischel and Driscoll to the near side. The Arrows again try to spread out that defense, which has really been crowded in the line of scrimmage on the option. Pittman alone setback, and he'll option right. It'll be Pittman again, and boy, they hem him in with Johanning once again. Johanning crashing down and making the play, and also into the stop of the Dodger defense is Justin Athey. They will call it to the 38, so only a gain of a yard for a 3rd down and 5. And, you're spreading them out with 4 receivers, Ben. This is the point, though, where Johnson may have misread that and probably should have went to the outside because he pulls it. I think he had running room.
I'll tell you what, Pittman's going to want to see a jacuzzi or a big bag of ice. That was carry number 19, and he's been getting nailed by this Dodgeville defense.
Arrows will come to the line of scrimmage and call the play out at the line. With 10:01, they got to get this one off quickly. 4 receivers set. 3rd and long, handoff, Pittman. Johnson pulls it out. He's got the 35, runs to the far side, 30, to the 25, to the 20, inside the 20, and out of the 16-yard line. Well, he handed it off and faked the handoff to Pittman. And just as Pittman was hit, Johnson pulled it off and was off to the races on the left side. It's 1st and 10 at the Dodgeville 16-yard line with a 22-yard gain by Mike Johnson.
And he might do a better job of doing that and pulling that ball out at the last second than I've ever seen a high school quarterback.
Ben Cayley now at fullback. They'll come back with a 4 receiver set from the left hash, and a flag comes out. And this is probably somebody lining up off sides as the line judge makes the call on the far side of the field. 22-3, Lancaster to lead with 9:41 remaining in the game. Dead ball foul, offside Lancaster, and this is the offensive consistency that John Hoke is talking about, and they have struggled with that throughout the season. Here they're up 22-3 and trying to get a final score, and this is the kind of thing that can really gray a coach's hair because it gets 5 yards extra out of this possession. 1st and 15 and pushes it back to the 21 after somebody lined up off sides. 4 receivers set, Caleb alone setback. Under center Johnson. Counter play. Quarterback keeps it. Got the 20 to the 15. Far side 10. Inside the 10 and out of the 9. That's the quarterback counter play. Fake to the fullback and then spin and run to the hole to the left side. And everybody expects the fullback to get it. And Johnson kept it and gives Lancaster a 1st and goal at the 8-yard line.
And just to go back to the penalties, Doug, that's the 5th penalty on Lancaster. 35 total yards.
13 yards on the gain by Johnson. He's got to be over 80 yards rushing now. Probably be near 100. Wishbone formation, Driscoll right. They're going to pass. Look for Driscoll, right corner. Double team goes up, off his fingertips, and that nearly caught it in the bounce. Incomplete as Driscoll, as usual, draws a crowd. And in this circumstance, it is not the homecoming court for the homecoming king.
With his size, with his height, and with his jumping ability, that was a great call. He went up higher than any of the defenders, almost came down with the TD. And like you said before, he's a man amongst boys.
8:53 to play, 22-3 Lancaster to lead in the red zone, trying to get one in on a 2nd and goal from the 8. Wishbone formation, Driscoll to his right, now Bischel in motion. Johnson optioning right and hands it off to the fullback, Pittman, and that is it. Dodgers smelled that one out, and Athey's on the top of the pile along with Joe Henning. You know, a guy who right now has been making a lot of plays on that Dodgeville defense has been Scott Johanning. He has been playing a very good game today for Dodgeville. Losing yardage. I'm going to say no gain, no loss. 3rd and goal at the 8. Langkamp brings the play in. He's out there with Cayley and Bischel. Now Maine and Driscoll to the near side. Maine actually the tight end. Driscoll split out wide right. 3rd and goal from the 8. 4th and goal from the 8. Excuse me. Option right. Johnson hands it off, and Cayley won't get in. Failed to get in on a 4th and goal in Dodgeville. Dodgeville at a 4th and goal. The defense holds, and the Arrows will turn the ball over on downs. 1st and 10, Dodgeville at their own 8-yard line.
I think it would have been worth a shot. Go right back to that fade to Driscoll. Give him a shot at the end zone.
So 4th and goal. The run fails, and the Dodgeville defense holds despite a couple of big gains by Mike Johnson in that series. And the defense back of the field with a 22-3 lead, and Dodgeville with 8:06 to try to mount a comeback. Notice Ayers is now to the shotgun. 2 receiver set. Ayers under center, rolling out, now handing it off up the middle. That was the fullback Mum with his first carry. And the Arrow defense on the inside making the defensive play was Dan Duncan. And we will call it a gain to the 9 for a 2nd and 9 for the Dodgers. You only run a running play and you're down 22-3. Takes another 30 seconds off the clock. Reynolds to the near side, Wineland to the far side in I formation. And here's Duncan under center, but a 2nd and 9 from the 9. Takes the handoff, passing near side, down and out. Reynolds makes the catch and steps out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Going to say he's out at the 15. And we look to the far side of the field, and that should be shy of the first down. Pick up 6 to make it a 3rd down and 3.
And a nice short pass, quick out. That's what they should have been working on a little bit earlier instead of throwing the long ones downfield.
7:27, the clock stopped as he stepped out of bounds. Reynolds to the near side. 2 men on the far side of the field. Actually, 1 man on the far side of the field in Bothfeld. 3rd down and 3 for the 15. Ayers back to pass. Quick drop. Throwing far side. Pass caught. 1st down. Bothfeld is out to the 20. And Larson is there to make the stop, but it's a 1st down Dodgeville, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. And just a simple game, Ben. All you got to do is move the chains, keep moving the sticks, and sooner or later you're in your enemy's territory and trying to get a score.
Well, not that the Lancaster's in the prevent defense, but they'll give you those short passes when they're up 22-3.
Yeah, they're going to.
They're just not going to let anybody get behind them.
Shaw, Larson. Now in the secondary for the Arrow defense, Andrew Knapp is back in the game. He'll play the corner on the near side. 1st and 10, Dodgeville at the 20. Ayers to pass. Straight back, deep drop, throwing long, near side receiver. Cut his pattern off at the 40, but Ayers throwing out a flock of blue back there, and it really did a great job to get the ball out here, but the pass is short. It's incomplete for a 2nd and 10 to the 20-yard line. He has been under constant pressure here in the second half.
Yeah, he had defenders right in his face, and he threw that ball even before the receiver had a chance to turn.
Especially on the deep drops. On the short drops, the 3 steps, he's had time to throw. Of course, you probably should have on a short 3-step drop. But when he's doing deep drops about 7 to 9 yards, they have been putting plenty of pressure on him. 1 man on the near side in Ganser, 2 receivers to the far side on a 2nd and 10. So movement, and now a Dodger moves on the right side, and a handoff up the middle. They're going to blow the play dead, as we're going to have a legal procedure on part of one of the Dodgeville Dodgers.
It was looked like the right tight end or the tackle that jumped a little bit early.
Dead ball foul, illegal procedure against Dodgeville to make a 2nd and 10, a 2nd and 15, and push it back to the 15-yard line. Your game tonight being brought to you by Brittingham and Hickson Lumber Company of Lancaster. They feature Anderson Windows and Patio Doors. Visit with the winning team, Anderson Windows and Brittingham and Hickson Lumber Company of Lancaster. Millprint Incorporated and its employees, proud sponsors of today's broadcast. It takes team spirit and dedication of everyone on the team. Good luck from Millprint Incorporated. Second and 15, Dodgeville at their own 15-yard line. A two-receiver set. Ayers under center. Going back to pass. Pressure coming. Throwing long. Far side. Double coverage. Larson, does he make the pick? Yes, he did. Intercepted by Larson at the 40-yard line. Double coverage of the receiver. The fourth interception for the Aero defense here tonight.
Yeah, so far Ayers has only completed 5 passes. Doug, 4 interceptions. That's not a good ratio for your quarterback.
So Lancaster, the offense, with a 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line with 6:50 to play in the game and up 22-3. And boy, this second half, we've had a safety. We've had so many punts. We had 5 punts. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 punts. And 4 interceptions now, haven't we?
Well, you're in a conundrum because you're getting pressure if you got to do the deep drop, but yet you can't go into the shotgun because it's been causing problems all night long, so your offense is hurting.
1st and 10 of the 40-yard line. 2 receivers set for the Arrows coming out of the option near side. We have a new quarterback, and I do believe that is the sophomore, Matt French. So Matt French in at quarterback for Lancaster here late in the game. And running the option to the near side, picking up a couple of yards on the halfback, or the fullback run to 38 for a second down and 8 yards to go. So Matt French in at quarterback, and the Arrows bring some other players in the game as well. Brad Collins will come in. Driscoll comes out, so does Pittman. Cayley comes in. So Matt French, the sophomore, in at quarterback now for the Lancaster offense. Option near side and handing it off. It may have been a fumble in the play, and no indication yet. It appears Lancaster has the foot. No, Dodgeville got it. Dodgeville recovering the fumble. And corrected. I do believe French is a freshman, not a sophomore.
Yeah, he had a little trouble with the handle coming from the center and the back as he was coming through, ran into the ball. That knocked it loose, and Dodgeville picks it up, and they'll take over at about the 38-yard line.
No, where the ball was fumbled, they pick it up. 6:07 to play. Dodgeville with the possession. And they send a couple of receivers right and left. Ayers the quarterback. Quick handoff. Mumm up the middle. Brought down by the Aero defense, and the stop made by Corey McKelvey for the Lancaster defense. To the 41, a gain of 3 for a second out at 7 yards to go. So Lancaster's John Hoke getting a lot of players into the game now late in the game, up 22-3. However, Dodgeville keeps the number 1 unit on the field. Bothfeld to the near side, Reynolds to the far side. Ayers under center with 5:41 to go. Ayers on the handoff to Pitts, near side, looks for running room. Whips on the tackle that time on the miss by Knapp. And nice move by Pitts to get up over the 45 and out to the 46 before Brendamule can make the stop. However, Brendamule hopping off the field with a bad ankle as he injures his ankle on the play. Pitts on the gain, gets to the 46, pick up a 5 for a 3rd down and 2.
And they're going to look at Brendamule on the side. You can tell right away that left ankle is very tender. He's walking on it very gingerly.
Near side hash, 3rd down and 2 for Dodgeville for the 45. An I formation, a 2 receiver set. Ayers the handoff, second back through. Pitts looks for running room, cuts it up inside the 50 and down to the 48 for a 1st down. Aero defensive play by Tom Sweet in the secondary, but it's a 1st and 10 for Dodgeville at the Lancaster 48-yard line with 4:58 to play. That is just their 3rd 1st down, I do believe, of the second half.
And just checking on the sidelines, Doug, it looks like more, rather than his ankle, it looks like he's cramping up Jesse Brendamule. They're stretching out that calf muscle down on the sideline.
1st and 10, Dodgeville at the Lancaster 48. Reynolds to the near side, 1 man on the far side. In I formation with Mumm and Pitts. Ayers under center. Quick drop, throwing, pump fake, now throws long. Once Reynolds, near sideline pass, off his fingertips to the 20-yard line, incomplete. Coverage on the near side for the Lancaster defense by Jack Pagankoff. And Ayers put it right on his fingertips, but Reynolds couldn't hold on. Incomplete for a 2nd and 10.
And Reynolds had a step, did a good job. He got behind the defender on that play. Nothing more you could ask Ayers to do. He put the ball right where it needed to be. He just didn't come up with the ball.
Well, the clock stops with 4.5 to play at a 22-3 Lancaster lead. Bothfeld to the right, Reynolds to the near side in I formation. Again with Mumm and Pitts. 2nd and 10 for the 48 of Lancaster. Ayers back to pass. Pump fake. Looking, now throwing near side over the head of Reynolds. Incomplete. I think he was trying to set up the same play, but Reynolds didn't go deep. And he threw the ball well over his head. It's incomplete for a 3rd and 10 at the 48-yard line.
They're having a little discussion as Reynolds comes back to the
what route he should be running.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he did the pump fake, and you hardly do a pump fake and a down and out. Usually when you pump, that means you go long. Bum out for the Dodgeville offense. Reynolds will split wide right along with Bothfeld. Wineland, the outside receiver here, along with another man in the slot. Shotgun for Ayers. High snap, brings it down, back to pass, pressure coming, throws, middle, and over Reynolds, the intended receiver, the 30-yard line. And heavy pressure came on Ayers. Right in his face for Lancaster was Jason Seipel as he threw that football, but it's an incomplete pass on the 4th and 10 for Dodgeville at the Lancaster 48-yard line. And obviously they're going to go for it.
And I'll guarantee next week there's going to be a lot of practice on the shotgun because right now, every time it's an adventure.
Yeah, it was another high snap, wasn't he, brought down? 4th and 10 to the 48, 4:25 to play, 22-3 Lancaster leading. 4 receiver set for the Dodgers. Shotgun for Aaron Ayers. Takes a snap, brings it down, pressure coming middle, looks, throws long, near side, 1 man out there, Wineland, and it's intercepted by Knapp. They're struggling for the football, and Knapp has the interception for Lancaster at the 10-yard line. Knapp on the pick. And this would be interception number 5 if they credit to Lancaster. What's the call? Looks like an interception. Wineland, the intended receiver, came out on top and had let go of the football. They're going to say it is a Dodgeville reception at the 10-yard line. Oh, my word. Wineland clearly came out from underneath the pile, Ben, at least that I saw it. Came out from underneath and went back in and tied up Knapp to get the ball back. And I think he took it back away from Knapp as they were on the ground. Didn't you think?
It looked like when Wineland rolled over that he had the possession or the majority of the possession of the ball. I think when they got into the pile underneath, that's when he lost.
Knapp had possession.
Knapp had the ball. But I think he lost it when they were struggling underneath.
1st and 10 at the 11-yard line, so that is going to be a big pass play for the Dodgers, and Ayers will hand it off to Pitts, who runs to the middle. He's inside the 10, down to the 5, and out of the 4-yard line. Brady Pitts running middle with 4 minutes remaining now. The Dodgers will have a 2nd down at the 4-yard line. The line of scrimmage was the 11, so 2nd down and 3 at the 4.
How long was that pass? Because
well, you had 48, you have 38-yard pass play.
Okay, because they moved the markers right away when they thought it was an interception and marked it.
They're going to mark it at the 5, so that'll be a 2nd and 4 then at the 5-yard line. Ayers with a 2-receiver set in an I formation. Hand off to Pitts. Backside cuts it up. He's inside the 5 and down to the 1-yard line. Brady Pitts down to the 1, and that will give them a 1st down and 1st and goal to go for Dodgeville at the Lancaster 1-yard line. The clock stopped with 3:25, and Dodgeville knocking on the door for a potential touchdown late in the football game, down 22-3. So the Dodger offense trying to get something going. A controversial pass play on the reception to Wineland down to the 10. But if you're Mike Baranek, you'll take anything now, right?
And right now the defense wants to stop them. They don't want to give up the score. This is kind of a pride thing at this point for Lancaster.
1st and goal at the 1. Ayers under center. Quarterback sneak, left side, walks in, touchdown. Aaron Ayers on the 1-yard run with 3:04 left. And makes it a 22-9 score. And Ayers will stay on the field for the extra point, or they're going to go for 2. Well, the 2nd team defensive unit for Lancaster out there, and Dodgeville getting the big play on the pass from Ayers to Wineland down to the 10. And then a couple of plays later in for the touchdown is Aaron Ayers. He'll try to tack on the extra point here. Ball is down, the kick is up, Ayers block it. Come in and smother Aaron Ayers as he is kicking the football. And no chance at all as the kick is blocked, and the score will stay 22-9. 3:04 to go. Lancaster up 13. Back after this timeout at 97.7 WGLR Lancaster.
It's all about you, our customer, and working together to achieve a common goal. F&M Bank is a full-service financial institution that's flexible enough to fit your financial needs and to help you grow. Contact your F&M banker today to learn more about our consumer, agriculture, business, and mortgage products, as well as F&M's trust and financial services. Visit one of the F&M offices in Southwest Wisconsin and let F&M help you with your financial needs. F&M Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
10 plays, 62 yards, 3:03 to do it. A big pass play, 38 yards. You got to credit Wineland, though.
Well, he didn't give up fighting.
Fighting for the football.
He
You got to credit a guy for doing that. You know, when you think of it, I mean, it's late in the game. Dodgeville, Lancaster expecting an onside kick, but you got to credit him.
As you can hear from the crowd, Mike, too, the fans on the Lancaster side want to replay on that.
10 plays, 62 yards, took 3:03 to do it. A 1-yard run by Aaron Ayers with 3:04 to play in the game. And it is a 22-9 lead for Lancaster. And the Arrows sending everybody close to the 40-yard line, 10 yards away, anticipating an onside kick on the part of the Dodgeville Dodgers. And that's what they're showing. Sending everybody off to the right. Ayers and 2 other men over here on the near side of the 40-yard line. But left hash, they'll tee it up. There's the boot, squib it up. Lancaster falls on it, and it's going to be first and 10 of the 50-yard line. Going right to one of the up men. And that was Fishnick. Fishnick didn't try to do like the Packers did last week, tried to bat it out of bounds. Could you believe that one? Fortunately, Chris Claiborne came to the rescue.
Yeah, they knew there was an offsides call. That's why they were doing that.
I couldn't understand that. Then Darren Sharper said, the heck with this. I've got an injured ankle. Get out of my way. I'm catching the ball. But it's first and 10 Lancaster. They'll have it at the 50-yard line with 3:01, and that 3:01 is what they want off the clock. And let's see if we get the freshman quarterback, Matt French, on the field. Yes, we do. Matt French back to the field, 5'11", 135, a wishbone formation, and the flag comes out and somebody is offsides. Well, you just got to get that clock running. That's the problem right now for Lancaster, to get that clock moving. And just to get it started, they will call an offsides penalty on Lancaster to make it a first and 15 and push it back to the 45-yard line, but Lancaster leading 22-9. Dodgeville's not showing any signs of making substitutions here. Maine will split wide on the near side. Cayley in the backfield with French under center. Takes the snap, option right, give it off to Cayley. Cayley gets some running room up the middle out to the 50-yard line and gets the 5 yards back that they lost to the penalty to make it a 2nd and 10 out to the 50-yard line, and more importantly gets the clock moving with 2:49 remaining, and no sign of Dodgeville calling a timeout here.
And a good call, just positive yards straight up the middle, and as you said, keep that clock moving.
Cayley, the fullback, again behind French on a 2nd and 10. Option right, French to Cayley again. Tripped up as he got some running room, and Ayers is the guy who tripped him up. But Cayley gets forward progress out to the 45 and down to the 45 of Dodgeville for another 5 yards to make it a 3rd down and 5 for Lancaster, and there goes Father Time with 2:16 now remaining in the game, and they need a 1st down here at least to keep it out of the Dodgers' hands.
And they're doing right, taking as much time as they can for each play, running this down to about 2 minutes before they snap the ball.
Brad Collins in at tight end now for Lancaster. Sandvik, one of the running backs, to the backfield. French taking his time as he comes to the line of scrimmage. Minute 56. Option left. And he'll give it off to Cayley again, who somersaults forward and apparently is shy of the 1st down. Let's see, no, they're going to get him a great mark, and he should have the 1st down at the 40-yard line.
No, he needs to get across the 40.
The way he somersaulted, I thought he was going to get the 1st down. Going to say 4th and less than a yard for a Lancaster 1st down. So 4th and 1 at the 41 of Dodgeville. I thought he got it on the somersault, and then, boy, they gave him a very generous mark.
He got a good mark on that play, but they had to get across that 40-yard line, but he's less than a half yard away from
1:22 left. One man split to the near side. Again, Cayley, the fullback, and now a flag comes out. It's going to be offsides. Offsides will be the call. Matt Sayer, a wide receiver to the near side, but who is the penalty on? It's going to be on Lancaster, a 5-yard offsides penalty to make it a 4th and 6. So from a 4th and 1, this will march it back to the 46-yard line for a 4th and 6.
And this is where some of the starters can help him out, too, because you saw earlier in the game, the receivers would be looking at the referees, which you can do to see if am I up far enough? Do I need to move back? And they will tell you if you'll ask.
And Lancaster going to punt it now as Larson will come into the game with the punting unit. And Bothfeld will go deep to the 15-yard line. They want to pin Dodgeville back in their own territory. He'll have time. There's the boot. Larson will get it away, spiral it away from Bothfeld. Bounces at the 15, stays in bounds, rolls inside the 5, and nearly died at the 1 on a great punt by Larson that bounced. How do you do that? Bounced back into play at the 15 and rolled along the right sideline, but it went to the end zone touchback, and Dodgeville will have it 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line with only 48 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, it looked like that punt was really going to bounce out of bounds at about the 7-yard line, and it came back down the line into the end zone.
Aaron Ayers will stay in the game at quarterback with a 22-9 Lancaster lead. And only 48 seconds left. I do believe Dodgeville has all their timeouts remaining here in the second half.
Let's see if they use the shotgun.
Nope, going under center. 2 receivers set from the 20-yard line. Ayers back to pass, straight drop, steps up, throws right side, incomplete, airmails it over Reynolds. The intended receiver on the far side of the field, Seipel in the coverage for Lancaster. It's 2nd and 10 for Dodgeville at their own 20-yard line. The clock stops at 43.8 seconds left in the game. Tonight's game at 97.7 WGLR brought to you by Legends of Darlington, sponsors of high school football tonight. Also, Pizzeria Uno in the Annex in Platteville, brought to you by Richard Brothers Shirt Printing in Argyle, Town & Country Insurance in Blanchardville. High school football tonight coming up. Myers Heating and Cooling of Lancaster, a sponsor here tonight. 2nd and 10 for the 20-yard line for Dodgeville. 22-9 Lancaster the lead. 2 receivers set. Ayers play action pass. Rolling out half right. Now has plenty of time. Throws it long. Far side receiver out there. The pass is knocked away. Is it intercepted? No, incomplete. Far side of the field. 1 receiver out there. And the pass falls incomplete with coverage on the far side of the field of the Lancaster defense. It'll bring up a 3rd and 10.
Boy, Ayers was showing his arm there. He does have a healthy arm.
Knapp and Pagankoff, they were the coverage. I do believe Reynolds was the intended receiver. Yeah, well, we've seen that a couple of times tonight. Going back to pass and people in his face and throwing off his back foot. I mean, you got a rush in front of you. How do you step and throw? That's pretty difficult. Shotgun for Ayers at a 3rd and 10. Receivers running around, not figuring out what side they need to be on. Now they realize it. A 4-receiver set. And Ayers to pass. Good snap this time. Steps way back again. Now steps up. He's going to run with it. Gets to the 20, to the 25. Looks for the 30, to the 35. Leaps a tackler and dragged out of the 38-yard line with 24 seconds left. He will have a 1st down for Dodgeville.
And he did a good job. He was thinking, do I go for extra yards? And realized I need to get out of bounds. Jumped out of bounds and gets that clock stopped.
So 1st and 10 for the Dodgers. They'll have it out to the 37-yard line of the 17-yard gain by Aaron Ayers on what is going to be the final possession of the game. Game tonight also being brought to you by Milford Incorporated. Its employees, proud sponsors of tonight's broadcast. It takes team spirit and dedication of everyone on the team. Good luck from Milford Incorporated. And TDS Telecom, with offices in Lancaster, Fenimore, and Dickeyville. Back to pass. Ayers out of the shotgun. Pressure middle, throwing middle. Reynolds makes the catch at the 50 to the 45. Knapp brings him down at the 45-yard line, but the clock is stopped to move the chains. It'll be 1st and 10 Dodgeville at the Lancaster 45 with just 16 seconds remaining. They will call a timeout, down 22-9, and obviously trying to get a late score here and pull off a miracle.
Well, finally, Knapp and his center are getting in time. He's getting some time to throw because Lancaster's dropping back. He's showing his abilities. So far throughout the night, though, the defense of the Flying Arrows has really stymied his ability to get comfortable in that pocket. He doesn't seem like he's a scrambling type quarterback who's good on the run when he wants to throw.
18 yards on the catch on the pass to Reynolds for the 1st down. Lancaster, by the way, had sent in the 2nd defensive unit in that previous series in which Dodgeville scored, and the 2nd defensive unit is on in this series again. So John Hoke getting a lot of kids a lot of playing time, and that's one of the reasons why this program is successful, because you get a lot of kids a lot of playing time no matter what the game. 1st and 10, Dodgeville at the Lancaster 45 with 16.6 seconds remaining. 2 receivers set. Ayers will go under center in an I formation in Lancaster territory. Takes the snap, pitch to Pitts. They'll do the reverse to Ganser. Ganser wants a pass. Throwing long, receiver out there, far side. He pushed off, and the pass is incomplete. Pushed off with a defender. I do believe Reynolds was the intended receiver on the far side of the field, and Knapp out there with the coverage for Lancaster, along with Tom Sweet. What is this? They're going to say he caught the football?
Oh, no way.
They're going to say he caught the ball at the 10-yard line? Good gosh, what kind of call was that? That ball bounced around. Didn't you see an incomplete incomplete pass?
That ball bounced before the receiver got to it.
Incomplete is now the call as better judgment takes over. And, you know, I'm speechless. I don't know how he could have called a completed pass on that play, because clearly the ball bounced and it was an incomplete pass. With 7.7 seconds left, Dodgeville will call the timeout.
Well, and that's why you have a team of referees, because that referee, I don't think he had the angle to see it, Doug. He was maybe behind the receiver, and the head linesman's the one who said, no.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. How many feet are we away? How many feet are everybody here in the stands? We all saw a ball bounce.
Yeah.
You know, yet he is like right on top of the play and couldn't see an incomplete pass. You know, and my vision is questionable at this age.
Yeah, even from our vantage point, that ball clearly bounced. That's why it was very confusing, and I wouldn't have wanted to been those refs trying to get out of the stadium if that play stood.
I don't know if it would have mattered. It's 22-9, but certainly would have given Dodgeville some wind in their sails. 7.7 seconds left, and Dodgeville with a 2nd and 10 of the 45 of Lancaster. And Ayers to go under center after they call the timeout. 2 receiver set in I formation. Ayers will pitch it out. They're going to do the same play. Hand it off to Ganser. He's going to pass it long. Throws it long. Far sideline. Receiver Reynolds adjusting. Man dropping the ball. Flag comes out. It's free. Arrows fall on it. And another flag comes out. Late in the play, there was plenty of contact. There is no time left. And remember, the game cannot end in a defensive penalty. Dodgeville will probably get a free play here if they call interference on Lancaster. Interference, Lancaster, so Dodgeville will have it 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. But time has expired in the ball game.
Now let me ask you a question. Doesn't the defender have as much right to go after that ball when it's a comeback?
I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. I've chastised this crew enough for one night. It's a 22-9 score. I think John Hoken is just trying to get off the sideline and get into the locker room with win number 5. Of course, you know, you have to understand, in high school football, it is not a point of infraction foul. It'll be 15 yards from the line of scrimmage of the 45, which would push it down to the 30. So it will not be where the play was made. Instead, it'll be 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. And they have to remember that, and now they're realizing that because they're thinking Sunday here, which, of course, on Sunday is the point of the infraction.
Well, and that play might have stood where it was at. John Hoke went out and had a little discussion with one of the referees, I think, to make that very point that you made.
You know, that's what you have rules meetings for, so you know what you're going on and what you're doing on a Friday instead of watching what happens on Sunday. 15-yard penalty down to the 30-yard line. 1st and 10, Dodgeville. They'll get one free play at the end of the game here with no time. 22-9. No time on the clock, so this will be the last one.
Do you think they go to the shotgun?
Shelly.
How about the double pass? It worked the last 2 times. Nearly worked the first time, right? There we go. 1st and 10, final play of the game. Game has been decided. Lancaster will win. Ayers will be in the shotgun. Good snap, back to pass, pressure coming, looks, throws end zone, far side, way out there. A lot of bodies. Who wants it? The ball goes up, and a flag comes out. It's caught. They're going to say it's a touchdown, or is he inside the end zone? Touchdown, Dodgeville. Dodgeville gets a touchdown and a Hail Mary pass at the end of the game into the end zone to make it 22-15 as they get a free play with no time. The flag came out at the end, late. What's going to be the call here, guys? We got zeros on the board, and it's a lot of folks interested in going home. But it is 22-15, and Dodgeville will get to try an extra point at the end of the game. That'll be a touchdown pass of 30 yards. Who caught that thing? You know?
Reynolds made the catch, and what he had done is he caught it, he bounced it up into the air, and had the presence of mind to stay with the ball, brought it back in, and he got the TD. So nice catch by Reynolds.
So a 30-yard touchdown pass from Ayers to Reynolds, and they're going to go for 2. 22-15 your score with no time on the clock. Dodgeville going for 2. Ayers rolling out right, looking, throwing in the end zone. Matt is out there. Catch, 2-point conversion. Final score, Lancaster 22, Dodgeville 17. So